Going on to the good people? What's happening? We
What's
here.
up, Rising Grinders?
What's happening? I'm all nervous. I'm like, feel like a kid. First day of school.
Ain't no
Hope I make a
thing.
good impression. I hope I do well. I hope they like me. What's
Yeah,
up,
no doubt.
everybody? The folks is here. Let me. I always like to see how do I look on YouTube. How do I look in StreamYard? Got to make sure the quality is right. We don't play when it comes to the quality. So let's go, people. Check on in. As you can see today, special guests. And you never had a guest before. But I said, you know what? It's time to do something nice, something special. And so we got
Hey,
my
Mark.
friend,
What's
old
up, buddy?
Fogey on here. And so y'all go ahead, check in. In fact, let me, brother Mark, is the Mark in here?
Yep.
What's up, Garrison Cigar? I think that's
What's
it's
up, Big
Garrison
Manny?
Cigar, but I think it's a cigar alchemist.
Yeah, he's got his own thing going now, man. He's done really, really well for himself.
Oh yeah, I've watched this channel for some time. What's up? What's up, my friend? What's up, everyone? Check on in. It's a Friday night. We've been rising, grinding. What's going on, my brother? Getting myself situated. I was telling old Fogey, look, I'm smoking me a Series V Milano. That to me, that ain't no. That's what I pull out on a special occasion. So I want to make sure tonight is just perfect. That tonight is right. You know, when I do special things, I don't like to mess them up. You know, sometimes you can pull out what
Yeah,
you think is your good stuff and you end up messing it up. So I'm
yeah.
gonna pull out a Series V Milano, and I'm drinking me some Wild Turkey 8 year. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight.
Nice. Well,
Yeah, I
for
love.
me, this is a very special occasion. I'm honored to be your first guest on this channel. This live stream has influenced me so much, and I'm just really glad to be here. So I'm celebrating. So tonight I'm smoking the Opus 20th anniversary Power of the Dream, and it's a torpedo. And I love to do the chisel cut on the torpedoes, man. I really, really like that cut, and just looking forward to get into that thing. And then I'm not drinking much these days, trying to follow cues from you and get on the health kick thing. And so tonight I'm just drinking a Ethiopian Yirgacheffe in my Ember mug, and I'm ready to do this thing, man.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
let's
light them
go.
up.
Let's go. Hopefully the sound is good for everybody. We here. In fact, he's got the torch. Jeez. In
Look
fact,
at
I
that.
can.
It gets it lit right now.
I know.
No
One
playing.
second. Whereas I'm going to take about 10 minutes of like mine with my. I think the Opus X20th that I have was courtesy of old Fogey Stogie. Most of the cigars that I have, most of my new stuff, is courtesy of old Fogey Stogie.
Well, man, I love you. I appreciate you, and man, you've sent me some good stuff too. And you've turned me on to so many good cigars, and I appreciate you, man. And that when I got that box of those God's Whispers, I smoked a few of them, and I was just like, man, I got to get. In fact, I sent you two because I was like, I want him to be able to smoke one and then have one to smoke on the show or do whatever. And because these 20s are great. I love them.
Now you did, and I appreciate it. In fact, so I got coming your way. I got an Avowed coming your way,
Oh, nice.
and
I've been wanting to try
a
one of
whole
those.
package. Yeah, you got a whole package coming your way. I put together a package for you and Joe, and so
Nice.
for Joe, I'll see if she's on. But Mark, your bottle's on the way. So Mark won the bottle of the I can't remember, but Mark won a bottle. We're giving away another bottle tonight. My sister sending her. She'll be the only person. I'm sending her a Lampert Limitada 2025. Throwing in a Avowed
Ooh,
and some other stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then with Old Fogey, I got you some Avowed. I think some turduckens, some stuff I figured you
Oh,
probably would stumble onto.
good, because I have not had that either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I got you one coming too. It's like so I got a package from Dunbarton, and they, Steve has watched my channel, and I talk with him on Facebook, quite a bit and stuff. And he sent me this package, and he was like, "Hey, you got a podcast and stuff." And he's like, some people that you could share some of these with, and it was basically everything that they came out with this year,
Mm-hmm.
and the Gorilla Gorda and Red Meat Lovers for Tanga, and couple others, and the Solita Red and the Umagog Bronze. And so he sent me like 7 bags full of each, 4 cigars. So I got all of those. I'm going to send you those and let you try those out and see what you think. A couple of them, of course, the Solita Red has been my favorite so far. But
that one, and the beauty of this show. So it ain't no secret, I'm not a big Dumbarton fan, and this is why I always say, look, ain't no real man sitting around arguing over cigars.
no,
Old Fogey is like the biggest Dunbarton fan. He literally just said, Saka sends him stuff, and they talk, and they chat, and then I'll come on here and say, oh, Dunbarton sucks. Because look, when you're a real man, you ain't worried about what another man is doing. It's just all in fun. That's why I make fun of the guys who, if you can't do that in real life, then I know you was raised different, and all I'm gonna do is mess with you.
Well, that's the great thing, about being an American. We all have a right to our own opinion. We all have our own palates. We all have the things that we like and the things that we don't like, and we share those. And you may like it, you may not. But a lot of the times when somebody that smokes quite a bit has sent me something to try, I've been like, I'm glad you did that, because now I got to get me some.
Yeah, the Red Meat Lovers I loved, the Maestro de Saka, and again, it's kind of like having the argument of saying who's better, LeBron or Kobe or Jordan.
Yeah,
they're all great.
We're
just messing around, just for the sake of argument and just having fun. Because
it's their world. We're just watching,
Mm-hmm. Speaking of manhood, my frat brother Big Manny on. What's happening? What's up, everybody? So like I said, Mark's got that cigar coming his way. What's going on, Chris? Go ahead. Subscribe, hit like. We're about to do it. So again, all right, I had a regular day. Just rising, grinding, just going nonstop. Just got home, sat down for a second. I think my Miami Heat's playing. Hopefully we beat Boston tonight. I closed my eyes for a second, opened them right back up, said, all right, time to set up for the show. And so we are here. Wanted my first guest to be my brother, Old Fogey Stogie.
Thanks, man.
We do this to have fun. I texted him earlier. I said, hey, here's what we talking about. I said, how about we talk about what's going to get you canceled? Or how about we talk about what you wouldn't talk about?
Yeah.
We were men having fun.
Shock.
For me,
Johnny OCD in the house. Yeah, dude, that for Tanga is awesome, isn't it, man? It's good.
Mm-hmm. We here just to have fun, and I want to be intentional about who I'm rocking with, who I'm hanging with, who we vibing with, just for the good people. I'm the kind of guy I don't talk. Well, I do talk a lot, but I see a lot. And I make a little mental notes. And I said, all right, you know what? Old Fogey been rocking with me from day one in a real way. Him and I talking in a real way. We really talk to each other, pray with each other. And with that being said,
amen.
Let me open up the show with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, watch over us. May we have a great show. Watch over every man, every woman, every family, every household, every riser and grinder. Bless us with a time of fellowship, a little bit of foolishness, but most importantly, bless us with a good time. May the people be educated, entertained, and encouraged. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. We pray. That's what men do.
Nice.
Men can come together, hang out. I'm drinking me some Wild Turkey 8-year and smoking me one of my most favorite cigars. So I got one of my most favorite people on here. We're gonna just have some conversation.
It's
What's up,
Friday night,
Louie?
people.
Mm-hmm.
Been a long week.
In fact, oh Fogey, what if you could want to share what does rising and grinding look like for you? What are you doing when you wake up in the morning and you got to put your pants on? Where do you go? What do you
Well,
do? What's life?
so every morning alarm goes off and I kick my adjustable bed up to where I'm sitting up and I grab my phone and I do a daily reflection with a scripture. It's on the Hallow app. It's actually a Catholic based app, but it doesn't matter to me because the guy that runs it, his name is Jeff Cavins, and he always just sets my day off right. You know, it's always gospel. It's always something that Jesus has said, and it's a reflection on it to start my day off. And then it's put my moccasins and my robe on, and I'm straight in for a coffee, whether it be, you know, a double espresso or a pour over or a cappuccino. I gotta have, you know, I'm old. I gotta have my coffee first thing in the morning just to get the wheels grinding. You know what I mean? And then just sit down with my wife and we watch the morning news and the weather. And I usually have some of these like little mini quiches out of the air fryer or some quiche that I made and eat those and just, you know, get ready for work and sit there and head on in and do my deal, you know, put my
Good.
time in and try to keep a positive attitude and just have a great day at work, you know.
That's good. That's good. That's good. We got to get back to you. You said you sound like a vampire. You said you sit while you stand while you sleep. Is that what you said? What's that? What's the
Well,
sleep?
you know, I've got an adjustable bed so I can sit up. You know, I can hit the button and it raises me up like I'm sitting in a chair. You know, so I can kind of wake up and you know
Like
look
that.
at the phone and everything and just be a little comfy before I get out of bed. You know.
I like that. You know, the way you get up, beginning your day, and I'm willing to bet most of the men. That's how I start my day. The same way, like you said, wake up, some meditation, wake up with some focus. I love it how when we see how similar we are. Where here I am out in California, he's out in Kansas City, wherever he is. But we're so similar. You know, the men who wake up. That's why I just respect manhood, femininity, people who wake up every day and do this. My brother here, Daryl Cobb, calling out Daryl Cobb. Why is that? Daryl Cobb's the winner. So Daryl Cobb won the New Riff single barrel. Daryl Cobb's on. Everyone's give a big congratulations to Daryl Cobb. So all the bottles I said I'm gonna give
Yeah,
away,
that's nice.
I've
Congrats.
given away. So Mark bottle is headed to him.
And
Daryl
that new
Cobb.
riff, it's amazing. I tell you what, I don't know any other you know, whiskey distiller that is able to get the flavor profile. Their aging process is amazing. You know,
And some good stuff. Oh yeah. And so now that I got a guest on here, see now I'm gonna be smoking different. I'm retrohaling. I'm taking my time. I'm enjoying the cigar. I'm enjoying. So what's up, everybody? It's my frat brothers, to the good people, to the good men and women. Garrison, the cigar. Like I said, the old fogey. I said, look, my goal. I think some content creators, the goal is to get some views and grow. I'm trying to get canceled. I wanna get
yeah.
canceled. Every day I say, you know what? Let me just go out as a martyr. Let me just say something, and and so one of the things I want to do with this show is I bring different people on. Maybe we just call this a cancel show. The stuff you can't say on your own platform because they'll get mad at you. So I want people to be able to come on here, say the thing you've been wanting to say, but you can't say. This is that safe space where we can just let it fly. Because what I've been showing you
Always
is,
has been.
if you just say what you want, the people, you know, people still rock with you. That's been my journey on YouTube. This idea that just be honest, be truthful. I think everyone's trying to tote the line and just be honest. And so that's what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna be honest, and we're gonna do what we want to do. If we want to pray, we'll pray. If we want to drink, we'll drink. If we want to say no, I'm not drinking right now, I'm taking care of my health. That's what we do. That's what men do. All right.
Yeah, especially the older we get, it's like, Hank Williams Jr. wasn't lying when he sang hangovers hurt more than they used to, because boy, I can't do it anymore, dude. It just kills me,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I gotta be really careful too. So about 6 years ago, I was over 400 pounds. Diabetes was tearing me to pieces, and I had to get a gastric bypass. I got the UnWind bariatric surgery so I could lose some weight and get that off of me and try to get that diabetes under control. And so the problem with my drinking is the way they rerouted my plumbing. Yours goes into your natural stomach, gets dissolved with stomach acid, then goes through the full and small intestine. Now me, I've got this little pocket off the top of my stomach that's there, and then the rest of it goes right straight into the middle of my small intestine, where everything is absorbed. So if I take a shot, it hits me in about 20 seconds. And me doing a shot all at once is like you doing 4 shots all at once. And It is very, very easy for me to go from happy-go-lucky, I'm having a couple drams drinking, to having a little bit too much, and then just instant blackout asshole. And so it's like, man, I don't want to put myself in that position anymore. And I surely don't, I can't get up and go do the job that I do feeling like that. So I've taken some cues from you, doctor, and just been like, man, it's time for me to get healthy. It's time for me to, start acting my age a little bit, and, just
like that.
putting things away,
That's cool. As I say all the time, I got a whiskey and cigar channel, but if I can come on and say, hey guys, like one of my last recent videos, enjoying a cigar, non-alcoholic products.
Yeah.
What if we because again, going back to this idea, I think a lot of times we just trying to get the views. We just trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to push this, push that. What if we're just honest with each other and say, hey, look, yeah, I enjoy a cigar. Yeah, obviously I'm smoking and drinking right now. But if you notice, I haven't taken a sip of the whiskey yet.
Yeah.
It's all about that moderation. I haven't taken a sip of whiskey this week.
Yeah.
It's about moderation. It's about not just trying to do or say or chase after some views, but it's about just being honest and helping each other. And so think about when I do a video and I say, hey, in this video, I'm gonna talk about why I stopped drinking. I mean, that's something where most people say, oh, don't do that one. That's going to ruin your channel. But it's about trying to help somebody out. And I much rather do that than get a couple extra views. And so now my brother Shockproof, he enjoying his LFD with some 1792.
And that is a good pour, man.
Oh, yeah.
That is a good pour.
So we about to get it going. Not only I'll be giving you a little monologue right now, but we letting the people settle in. And of course, we got my brother here blessing the channel, Mr. Cash. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. May God bless.
Always a big supporter of the channel. Always whoops out at least a 5 spot every show, man. You're a champion, Mr. Cash.
And it goes such a long way. I mean, it's just being nice, being kind. That's good. So you've been seeing the content that's been coming out. Hopefully you guys seen that video. You know what? Have you had the Amazon bays in 2026?
Yes. In fact, I got a box of them. And because you sent me 2 of the 2025s in that first cigar bomb you sent me. And I smoked that, and it was really good. In fact, I've got the other one in my humidor still, and I'm kind of saving it. But I started smoking on that, and I like that cigar just for the different flavor profile. I mean, it's not like anything else you smoke. It's good. I do think that it will be a little bit, give it 6 months, and see what it tastes like then. But,
To 2026.
and I've shared some, with some people. I got a guy that I work with. His name is Derek, and he goes down to a local lounge all the time. He's a member down there, and I was like, hey, the cigar room out in Lee Summit has got these, and they're only letting everybody have two, And of course, I've built a really good relationship with this gal that owns this, and that's a lot of what that's all about, man. You guys build these relationships with your locals, and they will hook you up. And but anyway, I was like, you got to go get one. You got to go get one. Well, that night I get a text from him. He's smoking that, and he's like, great cigar. And I was like, I know, right? So now I'm not such a crazy man, huh?
You mean in 2026?
Yeah.
Okay. I smoke one while doing a live. I smoke one. Yeah, I put the box in my Tupperware. I said, I'm gonna let these sit for a second.
Yeah.
I just didn't love it. But then again, the Amazon just means so much to me. And so sometimes in your own mind, you got something hyped up. And so, yeah, I'm going to let the box sit until the fall, until it gets cool again. And then I'll pull it out. I think I also, as you were just mentioning that, and that's just how we should be with each other. I didn't even remember I sent you some Amazon 2025s. Because I remember sending you some Atabays. And,
yeah, you sent me an Atabay Sabios, which was the very first Atabay I ever had, and I loved it, Smoked it out on my back porch one afternoon.
I remember that. And coming your way, I'm sending you an Avowed. And so again, this is what friends do. Friends help each other out. That's why I'm always saying, look, we got to take our space back over. Friends, people, men, women, just us connecting with each other.
What's up,
I
Ray?
was sending old Fogey some stuff. Yeah, way back then.
Yeah.
And he sent me some stuff. Like I said, Oprah's X20th. And it's what friends do. Friends can really help each other out. There's no hype, no ulterior motives. I didn't know I'd be on a live with him today. When I sent it, it was just to say, hey, let me send you some stuff.
Exactly. Me, it was just like, man, I love this guy. I appreciate him. I want to send him some cigars in appreciation for all the good cigars that you've turned me on to, all the good times that I've had in your lives. And I was like, hey, this is some cigars that I've smoked that I have really enjoyed. You try them,
Yeah. We got Ray on. What's going on, Ray? Check out Ray. Ray does his thing. He does his lives Saturday nights. Ray, I'll be watching you as I'm writing my sermon. I'm watching.
Well, as a matter of fact, Ray invited me to be on his live tomorrow night. So I'll be
doing a circuit.
I'll be joining him, and then it's going to be a fun weekend, man. I'm so pumped. I got a good lineup of cigars that I've been saving back. Like I said, I kind of, I've been smoking cigars for a little over a year. I started in October of 24, and I've got a lot of cigars in my humidor that I started buying way back then. And so everything that I've got that I started buying that I haven't smoked, or I usually buy two and smoke one, and now I'm starting to go back through those cigars that have been sitting in my humidor for a year, and I'm just going back on my cigar scanner to the very first ones that I loaded up and kind of working my way through those cigars. And it's some of them have been a distinct change, and some of them have been like, well, we can check that one off the list.
Yeah. So you just started in 2024 smoking cigars? Yeah.
I've had a few, but
over the years, I think about how if you're starting now, the scene, and it's one of the things I think about my channel. That's why I just go so hard, because I think if someone is just starting now, you start off with this idea that this is just how it is. It's always just hype and limited edition, But I started like 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
And so imagine you started a thing and it was just chill for like 10 years, 12 years. So all that you see now, this is all brand new. It never was like this before. And so that's why I say the things I say, because I'm saying, yeah, I'm the old guy saying, hey, can we make it the way it was? Because it was not like this. It wasn't like this 5 years ago. It was just chill and relaxed, and it almost to say, not to say it was boring, but it was good, and it was just normal.
Yeah.
And as I look at the scene now, it's just this, it's like a
People
circus
chasing
almost.
their tails. Just a bunch of people running around chasing their tails, trying to get stuff that they think they have to have, and this, that, and another. And it's like,
Yeah,
I kind of got caught up in that for a while. It
we
was
all do.
like, did a lot more buying than I did smoking, and got a
Hmm.
lot of recommendations, and seen a lot of content and seen a lot of things, and it was like, oh God, well, that's a limitada,
Yeah,
that's
always.
limited release. Oh shit, I better get some,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna lose out. When, like you said, you're smoking that Melanio tonight, and I was just talking backstage, with the doctor, and it was like, the nice thing about a cigar like that, it's like a quarter pound with cheese. Every time you have one, it's exactly the same. You can
Mhm.
count on it to be consistent. You can count on it to be good. You can count on it to smoke well. And, that's the kind of cigars that I myself have been trying to go back to. Just,
Yeah.
more affordable cigars that aren't hype, cigars that are just well made.
Mhm.
Some of the Ashtons, some of my father's, some of the La Aromas, just some of the, core line stuff that, doesn't
Yeah.
break the pocketbook, but it's like,
It shouldn't.
okay, I like these, so I'm just going to smoke a bunch of these. That's like that Black Dahlia
Love
Corona
that cigar.
Gorda. It's a very inexpensive cigar. It's a great Vitola, and I smoke a lot of those, and
Yeah.
because they're just, they're very inexpensive, and it's a good, short smoke, and I like being more into that than, some of these hyped up cigars that I've had and haven't even smoked. It's like, oh, I got to have these. Well, shit, you haven't even smoked half of them.
Yeah, and I love it. You turned me on to that. Oh my God. I just saw a comment and it said, "Who won?" And I said earlier,
Thank you, Shock.
that Miami is playing Boston. Now, when I stopped watching the game, we were up by 20. We down by 2, and it's 40 seconds left. So I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. Shouts out to the basketball fans out here. Shouts out to the teams who made some progress in the free agency, in the deadline and everything. I'm mentioning that because I'm a Heat fan, and every single year around this time, we're supposed to get the best player. One year we were supposed to get Kevin Durant, didn't. Then we were supposed to get Damian Lillard, didn't. This year we're supposed to get John Morant and Giannis, nothing. And so now we're just left with this disappointment. And so I find myself saying, you know what? Forget watching these guys play. Let me just sit outside, smoke a cigar, hang out with my friends, and have a good time. All right. So I'm glad you guys are all here. I was thinking, my brother Shockproof says the Amazon's a great cigar, but you got to let it rest. That's one thing I noticed, and I always try to make a point of saying this. The Millennials I smoke probably have been sitting for like a year or two. And so the reason why I jump on here and say, oh, all my cigars are so good, because they all got time on them. So that's the number one thing. If a Millennial with 2 years on it is going to taste like whatever high-end Padron you chasing after, it's all the same tobacco, my friends. It's the same feels. It's the same everything. Just let it rest. Give it some time. So just like the Basins, they may not be great right now. And what I'm loving is people are starting to see this and even starting to appreciate it. The Basin wasn't good when you first opened it up. That's all right, because we normally don't smoke cigars as soon as we buy it. We normally set them aside. It wasn't until this new hype and this new craze, like Foggy was saying, where you got to buy, have. And now people are buying cigars and just rushing. But back in the days when we didn't do that, you knew you bought the cigar and you set it aside for a little bit. You smoked it 6 months later, and then you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But that's when it wasn't some special release every single day. And so the whole journey is just different. And that's why I'm so fascinated by, as you're saying, if you're starting now, and we're just in this cigar boom right now. We used to have a whiskey boom where everyone was just buying up all the whiskeys. And these things pass. And what I'm just so interested in seeing is, okay, what is it going to look like when the boom ends and we go back to being normal again? And that's when that's why I go so hard on these brands, because I know they're not going to be here a year from now, 2 years from now. That's why I go off on them, because I know their play. They jump in, create a whole bunch of hype, and half of them will be gone next year. I can guarantee you, because we see this every 5 years or so. That's why I always say, who was the best cigar last year or the year before? They're gone, right? So don't get caught up in the hype. Smoke what's actually good. Melanios,
smoke what you like,
flatheads, stuff is good.
And smoke what you can afford. I myself personally too. I kind of traded off my vinyl collecting to cigars, and I struck when the iron was hot and sold my vinyl collection that I've started and had my whole life, and made some good money off of it. Well, then I had some play money for cigars, and I just started buying all this stuff. And it was like, man, you know what? A lot of these really expensive cigars, a lot of these things, it just, I've got some, more affordable choices that I like better, and I spent way too much money, way too much. And I got some guys that I know that's just like, dude, you're broke all the time and you got 400 cigars in your humidor. What, what I mean? Slow down, maybe smoke some of the ones that you have and enjoy what you have, and get off that buying train, Yeah.
So I think is over for us. Now, Brother Young here, he's not a bandwagon Seahawks fan. He's been pushing Seahawks for a little while. I know old Fogey's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so look, you had your moment, you had your time.
Well, let me tell you this, though. I'm actually, so my football season's been over for weeks because I was just done. But let me tell you something about hype with that. So
tell it.
I've been a Chiefs fan. I went to my very first Chiefs game in 1973, with my dad and some guy that bought cameras from him back in the day that lived up in Omaha. And, we went through all those years and, all the Dick Vermeils and the Schottenheimer years where we got to the playoffs every year. And then, the Colts or the Steelers would kick our ass in the first round and we were done, and we hated it. But we went to the playoffs every year. Well, after this last stint since Mahomes came in and those 3 Super Bowl wins, dude, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? To be in that hype, to follow that so closely, to watch these games so intently. I'm glad to take a break. I don't care. You know what I mean? In fact, I probably ain't even going to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow or Sunday. I'm just, I've been so consumed with football for so long that I'm ready to put my attentions towards something else right now.
I think that's how I was when Miami was winning with the Heat, with LeBron and Wade, and it was just this big circus, the Heatles, they called it. And so as we hear, you know what, as the name of the show was going to be Bring the Smoke. And so we're going to get into some of that. But so we just setting the pace here. So let me know who we got on the big game. We got Patriots, Seahawks. I was watching the replay of 1 yard line. Do they give the ball to Marshawn? Does he run it up the gut, the beast? And instead they went with a pass. And Tom Brady and them won. And so let me know what's your thoughts.
Right,
who we think is on their way to winning. I'm watching the game. I'm not hosting. I always host Super Bowl, but I've been hosting a lot of stuff. So in fact, I'm hosting a big cigar event at my house. So we do a little rotations, like 20 guys in the neighborhood, well, in the county, I would say, who smoke cigars. So I'm doing that not next week. So I'll be with you next week, but the week after that, hosting a cigar event. And so I said, all right, look, I'm not hosting Super Bowl. And so I'm going over to a friend's house, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the game. But let me know who we got. And I'm just looking at the score. So my team, the Heat, lost. We were up by 20 at the half, and we lost the game. Let me know who you guys got for the Super Bowl. Again, more content that we. All right, I got to come before the congregation. I only put out 2 videos this week. You know why? I was just so tired. I got the content. All I had to do was hit upload. So I got a video. I'll drop it on Monday. It's my review of The Avowed, The Vow. So that's coming out. All I had to do was just hit upload. So for those who make content, you got to upload it to YouTube, and that takes like about 4 to 8 minutes sometimes, and you got to wait, and I didn't feel like waiting. And the first day I didn't feel like waiting. The second day I just was too tired. I mean, I've been working. I've been rising and grinding. So between corporate job, church, I was too tired to hit the upload button. And I said, "Oh man, you're only gonna put out 2 videos this week." I said, "Then so be it."
Well, hats off to you, Doctor, because it is a lot of work, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work, getting everything right, filming, doing the editing, adjusting, color grades and, audio, right, and making sure everything, it's a lot of work. And as much content as you put out 10 times more content than I do. So I know, and I'm just like, God, how is he doing this with everything else he has going on?
You got to have a system. So I got a system. So sometimes you guys may even notice this in the videos. Like, man, he wearing the same clothes. Yeah. I might shoot like 3-4 videos in one day.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started, my wife is a graphics designer. So that was some inside help. She thought I was going to just do 1 video a week. So she's like, yeah, I'll help you. And then I was like, nah, I need 2. And then I was like, nah, I need 3. And then shorts. And then live. And then she said, shorts, you know what? Yeah. This is you. This is your pet project. So it's all on you. All right. Let me get caught up. All right. So again, Mark won the bottle. Congratulations to Mark.
Nice.
Daryl won another bottle. Congratulations to Daryl. All right. We're going to take on some questions. So I was going to do this based upon Bring the Smoke. I figure every now and again, I like to do a Q&A show. Every now and again, I like to do a Bring the Smoke show because I've never deleted a comment before. But as of the past couple lives, I've been deleting comments. I've been putting people in timeout. I've never done that. But folks have been getting wild, crazy. I don't know if there's something in the air. Folks have been losing their minds, and yeah, people say stuff. I mean, we had fun with the one gentleman. I won't even bother dealing with him right now. But then that started growing, and then people just started saying the most wild stuff.
Yeah.
So I said, as a man, the way I am, I said, all right, everyone who got something to say, just say it. So tell me what it is that. I mean, one guy, he always pops on here, uses my government name, and says, oh, he a crook. He a con artist. I'm like, where do you know me from? Like, who are you? So I said, all right, let me just do the show, Bring the Smoke. And I said, okay, well, then I'll sit here with my friend and we'll hear what maybe some people got to say. Well, because look, as men, we don't run from nothing. It's all fun. It's all funny. We're living real lives. So if I can sit here on a Friday night and just let someone get something off their chest, then so be it. All right. Ray asked a question. He says, do you believe that a cigar should rest after buying, or is it ready to smoke when you buy it? I definitely believe in letting it acclimatize to your humidor. And so, again, that's why I say I don't even think about smoking a cigar for the first month when I get it, because to me, it's this brand new thing. So I don't know where it's been. It's been in a UPS factory. It's been, who knows?
in a
I need to
cold
let it
shipping
sit.
truck or whatever, you
Yeah.
know.
Depending on where it's coming from. I live in Southern California. So let's say the cigar is coming from New York or somewhere. That thing's been sitting in 30-degree weather. Now I got it. Now I'm in 70-degree weather. And so you don't want to shock the cigar. So simply
Yeah.
put, let it
In fact,
sit.
when I get mine here in the cold out of the mailbox, I don't even open the box. I set it on my kitchen table for a day, and then open it up. You know, let that whole package slowly warm up and
Yeah.
climatize, and then but yeah, like you said, about a month. And when you got plenty of other cigars to smoke, then it seems to burn better. It seems to smoke good, and then you can anticipate. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you buy a cigar for a certain reason,
Yeah.
and you're in the mood for that, and you're like, hey, I got that. I got it about a month ago. Let's try that baby. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Let it sit. Like, don't rush. I think anything that you're rushing into, it ain't gonna taste the way you hoped. That's why the cigar oftentimes is not gonna meet your expectation. That that Atabey Black you just got in the mail, and I say this because I literally just got on the shoot. I just got some in the mail. If I smoke it right, whenever I smoke it, it's not that it's not a good cigar, but it's probably going to underwhelm me because my mind is going to be, oh, Atabey Black, oh, it's going to be so great. And I think the beauty with cigars and even with life is let it come to you.
Yeah.
That might sound weird, but just relax, chill, don't overthink it. I don't know. Look, we men here, we might have some ladies in here, but we all know. Look, some things you can't be thinking about it too much. You got to just let it come to you. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes if you're too excited, the moment ain't gonna go the way you want it to go. And so the same thing goes with smoking a great cigar. Be cool, relax, let it come to you. So don't be in a rush. So when that order comes in, those Opus X you just bought, put them away. It's okay. Just
Yeah.
practice some discipline, and then open them up and then enjoy them. But if you overthink it and you're too excited and too hyped up, it's gonna let you down. You're gonna smoke it too fast. You're gonna be in too much of a rush.
Exactly.
So just
Exactly.
chill.
You're gonna
Just
smoke it
chill.
too fast, and you're just gonna, and that for me, the whole cigar thing for me has been about getting myself in a place where I can
Yeah.
relax, where I can savor, where I can reflect. I'm dedicating a block of time to enjoy this particular cigar. And
Mm-hmm.
when, like you said, when you're on a rush and everything, you just and then you're doing something else.
Yeah.
My best enjoyment time with a cigar is I'm sitting down with something to pair with it in my recliner, and I've got my stereo rolling, and I just listen to some bird, or some something mellow, or just some really good old school jazz, just something just to
Mm.
sit back and relax, and like you do a lot of the meditation stuff. Well, I
Yeah.
don't really know a lot about that, but to me, that's meditation. That's my therapy. That's the way for me to
Yeah. It is.
decompress and slow down. You know?
Yeah. That's what it's for. That's what so it cannot be rushed. And just like the actual smoking a cigar can't be rushed, I'm a real big fan that even just the acquiring, just the partaking of this thing in all regards. It's just something it just can't be rushed. It's like if you got that tri-tips, I know Fogey, he out there, king of the barbecue, he out there. But everything about it, if you want to have a good barbecue, when you go to get the meat, you're gonna take your time, go to that right butcher, the person who took his time to get it
Yeah.
ready for you. When you bring it home, same thing, my friends. If you're gonna marinate it, whether you use a dry rub or some Kansas City kind of marinade or whatever you're gonna do,
Yeah.
you're gonna take your time. And then when you go to cook it, so now this barbecue has become a 3-day event. You bought it slowly, you prepped it slowly. And when you don't just throw it on the grill and cook it at 400 degrees, for 30 minutes. No,
Yeah.
you let that thing cook for a little while, and then you're gonna sit there and chew it and enjoy it. And so,
Savor.
Yeah, savor it, my friends. And so if you find it that you're doing this hobby and everything's a rush and everything is, if this is stressing you out, if this is like old folks was saying, if you going broke doing this and it's stressing you out and you're like quick to, you got to read this and read, no, that if that's how you want to enjoy it, sure. But as the OG, I'm telling you, I'm saying, hey, youngin, slow down,
Yeah.
slow down and enjoy it.
In fact, I
And
won't even.
it ain't telling you how to smoke, but it's just telling you, nah, it ain't a rush thing. It's a different kind of thing. Sometimes you meet an old dude and you're like, dang, how can an old dude so cool? And you ought to listen to him. You know, he been here before. You know what he's talking about. Go with that pace. Slow down a little.
Yeah, I don't even put my meat on the smoker until it's at room temperature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all that
And
stuff.
just everything is the preparation and all, and I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I enjoy the process.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, when you put that much love into something and you pay attention to it, it's always going to come out good. Always, you know.
Yeah. My brother out in Chicago. Oh, he said a cigar was out in Chicago. What's up, Daryl? He says I'm guilty taking one right out.
Hey, Daryl.
Recent times. All right. Brother says UPS gorilla his last delivery. Broken ashtray.
Oh.
All right. Now, let me ask you this. So you said you smoked your first cigar 2024. What was it? See, you could remember it specifically, right?
Man, my very first cigar was an Ashton Classic.
Okay.
You know, and I wanted to start out light. I went into to my local, and I was just like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into smoking cigars. What do you recommend? Why do you recommend that? And they were like, well, you don't want to start with too heavy a cigar. Start with something light. Just make sure that you want to enjoy it. And so I had the Ashton Classic. I had the Drew Estate Undercrown Shade. And just some mild Connecticut's to start out with, and rolled with that for a while, and then kind of worked my way up, and then going through the full spectrum, getting into full flavored cigars. I mean, I like to go back to a Mahler cigar. In fact, my go-to is my pour over and my Brulee Blue in the morning. I like that. It's a good combination, and I gotta say, man, this cup I got. So this is the Ember cup. So this is a heated mug, and I can even control the temperature with my phone and everything. And it keeps my coffee's still steaming.
After all coffee right now.
Yeah, and so I'll sit there and take that time and sip on my warm coffee and have my Connecticut cigar in the morning. But yeah, Ashton Classic was my first.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I was in Cancun. Got me some fake Cubans and just loved it. I didn't know that they were fake Cubans or anything, but I just loved it. Just had an amazing time. I remember sitting there poolside, this hotel, my wife, kids in the pool at some resort in Cancun. And I remember turning to my wife and said, yeah, I'm a cigar smoker now. And I just enjoyed the moment. And the reason I'm telling this story, because my friend just texted me. It's one of those texts like, hey, coming back from Cancun, I got you some Cubans. And I just said, yeah, thank you. Bring them. And
right.
So I'm interested to see. And I'm pretty sure he's not a cigar smoker. I'm pretty sure that they're, I'm going to take them from him. And maybe they're good. Maybe they're great. One of the best cigars I ever had, the cigar that brought me into smoking was a fake Cuban. And that showed me that look, what you smoke, what you enjoy, just enjoy it. So much of it had to do with the moment. And so when I smoked that cigar, I got like a 5-pack of them. When I came back home, smoked the other ones, it always took me back to being poolside in Cancun. And so even to this day, when I sit and smoke a cigar, that's the memory that comes to mind. And so for me, I tend to smoke at the end of the day. I don't really do the breakfast cigar that much, but I'm more of this day has kicked my butt. I
Yeah.
step outside and then I smoke a cigar, and it takes me back to that moment of being in Cancun and chilling and relaxing. And that's why I keep saying this. If that's not how your experience is, then I'm encouraging you, brothers and sisters, get to that place of that relaxation, that place of chilling, and whatever cigar you got to enjoy, do it. Now, sure, if you smoking that Atabay, which is an amazing cigar, if that's going to help you to relax, I said in the video the other day, I don't think you can smoke an Atabay and have a bad time. I don't care how bad your day was. When you sit and you smoke an Atabay, you're left thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe life isn't that bad. There is a tomorrow. And so whatever's going to lead to you just being relaxed and chilling,
Yeah.
that's why do I think this? I used to watch the men come into the lounge when I was a little kid. And you could even see the stress on their face. As a little kid, I was hanging out in places I probably shouldn't have been. Pool halls, cigar lounges. But I would see the look on these men's face when they walked into the cigar lounge. You could see the weight of the world on their face when they walked in. When they walked in, and they were still wearing their uniforms. So plumbers, etc., electricians, construction workers. And you could see their day. You could just pick it up. And they would always walk in and almost like just sigh and say, all right, I'm here. And then I would watch them sit down. I mean, if you get outside and you go to cigar lounges, a man, he has that weighty look on his face. He walks in, sits down, grabs his stick out of his bag, and just uncrinkles it. And as he's doing that, you can just see the joy starting to come on him. His color starts to come back into his face, and you can see excitement. And as soon as he lights it up and takes that first exhale, then he's back. You ever see a man who needed a haircut and then he got a haircut, and now you're like, oh, there's Fred again. Yeah, Fred's back. Fred's
a
back.
man who needs a haircut.
But you can see that moment where life has come back into a person. And again, that's how, if I can tell you how my day was and my days are. And so the cigar becomes that moment of where I can just relax and chill.
Oh, man. Well, one of the things for me was, so when I first started smoking cigars, I was working for the city that I live in, Blue Springs, Missouri. I was working for the Public Works Department. And man, I was on call a lot, and there'd be a lot of nights that I'd be out getting called in at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning to go fix a water main break. And I'm sitting there in a Bobcat digging for these guys and trying to run this crew. And I found these little silicone bands that would snap around the top of the cigar like a band, but it had a magnet on it. So I could puff on my cigar and then I could just stick it to the machine and work. And because that would stress me out. It was so stressful because they just never had their stuff together. We never had the right pumps. We never had the stuff that we needed. And it was always a shit show. And having that cigar to even be able to enjoy that, to keep me focused, to calm me down while I was at work, was great. It got me through a lot of really bad nights,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you ever be at work and you looking at your boss and you're like, if it wasn't for my cigar collection and my whiskey collection, boss. Sometimes my boss will be talking. I'm like, you want me to prepare another spreadsheet? All right, tell you what. I'm going to prepare your spreadsheet. Only because I know I'm leaving this place and I'm going to sit in my backyard and smoke a cigar. And I might have me a whiskey. And that's gonna make it okay. Yeah. And so that's why we do what we do, my friends. And that's why we have this show, the UnWind. a time for us to just chill, relax. Now
Yeah.
tonight we gonna get into what we talking about. I'm gonna be doing some. Of course, I always got some other stuff planned. We're gonna do the social commentary. We'll do some stuff next week. We'll do some stuff talking about cigar culture. But every now and again, I just want us to just chill and relax.
Yeah.
And then again, I got my guests on here, Old Fogey, and yes, I might start having more guests. There's a ton of people who've been reaching out, and I've always said no. I don't want the show to be that. I don't want the show to be this commercial. It ain't gonna be that, and it's not gonna be anyone that's pushing an agenda. It's not gonna be that at all. It's always gonna be just the men and the women. Just so I can't rock with everybody. Let me just say it like that. I can't rock with everybody. You got to be good. You got to be solid. You got to be real. And I think about it like, okay, would I hang out with this guy in real life? In real life, would I sit and smoke a cigar with him? Would I chill with this person in real life? It can't be nothing transactional. It can't be, oh, bring him on. He's gonna give me some views, and then he's gonna do this for me, and I'm gonna do this for him. No, that ain't what. That's not how I see the cigar culture. It can't be this transactional thing. It can't be to push nothing. It can't be that. So even if he was a cigar brand owner, we wouldn't be. I'm just saying, it's about, can we just talk as people? Can we relax and chill? Because I just think all day long, I done give corporate America everything. I done give the country everything. I done spent all week long just giving. And now when we come here to unwind, it's just a time for the men and the women to just chill and relax. All right. So when I just finish my housekeeping. So you seeing the content that's been coming out. So yeah, I'm gonna drop. So you got me all next week. So next week I'm gonna drop 4 videos because I gotta get back. The videos are already made. So Monday through Thursday, I'm just gonna drop a video every day. So starting with that Avowed video. So you're gonna get that on Monday.
I can't wait to see that.
Oh, that's coming. And then I got a cigar that I said I fell back in love with this cigar. And so that one's coming. I'm thinking about showing my whiskey collection. And then I'm doing one called what I call the most underrated cigar. And so then we'll be right back on Friday. I don't know if that's Valentine's Day, but I've been married 20 years. No, Valentine's is Saturday. Okay. I might survive. Okay. All right. Let me get caught up in the chat. We just getting started, Francisco. We just getting, you know us. An hour into the show, I'm still doing the introduction. We just getting started. Hanging out with my brother, my friend. What's going on, Nate? Make sure y'all hitting. Oh, my guy's doing it big. Oh man, y'all make me want to step up. When Old Fogey came on,
that's supposed to be a good one, man.
Right. Old Fogey was smoking. He's smoking you got the Opus 20th, right? Or is that the same thing as God Whispers or something else?
This is the 20th, the Power of the Dream Torpedo. Because I'm celebrating, because I'm honored to be your first guest.
It is.
Like you said, I've been with you from the get-go, and and man, when I first came in, I never pimped my channel in here. You know what I mean? I never was like, oh, I got a channel and I'm supposed to be, you took it upon yourself to watch my content, and then you shared that with people. Mm-hmm. And that was just like, oh man, I was just, I was on cloud 9, but just the things that I've learned in the time that I've been watching you and the fun that I've had, and just, checking out all your content. And a lot of times he'll post something and I'll just text him and I'll be like, dude, right on with that one, or, something,
I love it.
And we have become friends. I mean, we talk to each other, and he shares his golf scores when he thinks he's going to shoot like crap and he doesn't,
It's a real thing. It's real. And you can tell when it's real.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, a lot of people reach out and I'm not being messy, but sometimes somebody will reach out and they'll say, hey, I admire what you're doing. I'm like, thank you, I appreciate it. And then their next message is, can you help me to get monetized? I'm like, all right, okay, all right. And then I realized,
Yeah.
okay, it's a transactional thing. Like it's it's it's
Hmm.
it's it's a transactional thing,
Let's pump
and
the brakes on that.
mhm.
You know.
I'm like, all right. I mean, and again, and we old fogey helped me with my camera settings and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a man's gonna help another man out, but you can tell when
Yeah.
it's a real thing versus, all right, you just looking for something right now.
Yeah, you
All right,
just
so
share something and you
mhm.
see something, and it's like, I've got a massive background in photography that goes back till I was 6 years old. And I was like, well, set it like this, set it like that, and
Yeah,
it'll look better. And I just did it because it was like, man, uh, a lot of times you don't focus on that. You don't know about that. You don't know, the exposure triangle and how it works and how just some little tweaks can help you look better. And why not help somebody out,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
somebody that you enjoy being with them and being on their lives. And, that's just what you should do for people is help one
Oh, yeah.
another.
Yeah, why not help somebody out? I mean, look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this for like 2 hours. You on a Friday night, chilling for free. So help us out. Hit like, hit like. Come on, we here. You here. You know you're gonna be here Friday nights. So help me out. That's it. Don't cost you nothing. My brother smoking comic nerd. First cigar came, bought a house. Sounds like first time in this house. I did smoke an Opus X, and I tell that story all the time. Lights are
Yeah.
out. Where I live, they shut your lights. We get this thing, high winds, fires, all that stuff. And so we were complete blackout for about 3 days. So first night I just smoke an Opus X with a Mexican Coke. And so that was something. Brother asked, have I ever been to a cigar convention? I haven't been. Again, I feel as if, like I just said, I feel as if I give so much to the corporate world. I don't want to Monday through Friday, like 7 to 5. It's transactional. I mean, that's corporate America, transactions. I don't want to do more of that with my hobby. And so even when I go to a cigar lounge, sometimes I'll be in there. Someone say, "Oh, it's Rise and Grind," and I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm not now. Now I'm just chilling." And so no. So simple answer is no. I haven't been to a cigar convention, but I imagine they're important.
Yeah.
It's not the space I'm operating in. I'm not
Me
trying to
neither.
sell nothing. I'm
I
not trying
don't
to.
I don't want to go to now. I will go to like cigar events, like
Yes, I
when
get it.
Outlaw had Nick Perdomo up there, and I got to go up there and meet him and hang out with him and talk with him, and he autographed a box of cigars that I bought from him as soon as the Legacy released, and just some different stuff. Now that, because that's, still, I'm at home. I don't have to travel. I can get it. It's a, people coming together, but I don't, I'm not going to be able to go to these conventions and buy anything from these people. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And it would be cool, but then there's content creators that will take you with them,
yeah, and
and
that's
that's
cool.
fine for me.
Yeah,
And that just leaves a lot more money to buy cigars with.
yeah, yeah.
you know?
And that's what I said. Yes, we do need to cover the industry and cover. And even as I think this out, because this whole channel, this is me and you, and is me and the people. So yeah, old fogey is the guest, but as always, the people is the guest. Would I ever bring on, maybe some blender or some cigar owner? If I do, it's just gonna be a real thing. It's gonna be it's gonna be a real thing. It ain't. It's gonna be a different vibe. And I do think, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I think if I never do it, then I do think that maybe my people are missing out on stuff. And so that's the only thought that I have. If the vibe that I'm trying to curate and present, if I never do, if I'm never at any cigar event, or if I never sit with the brands, and then my people may miss out on that. And I do get a sense that a lot of people who watch my channel, yeah, I'm always shocked and surprised when they're like, "Look, I don't know what Atabey is. I don't know what Avowed is. I don't know none of that stuff." And I kind of chuckle because I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't have known about it either. So I do think I want to keep the chill vibe, but I do want to show the people. That's why I do some of those videos on some of the new stuff, because I want my people to find out, okay, what's out here. Because I don't want us to always feel as if we're missing out and we're not included. So I might do some stuff. I might, but it's gonna be my way. It's gonna be a different way.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be no transactional way. And I say
No,
this
and
because there's some stuff in
for
mind.
me, it would be more like, I want to get to know this guy as a person. Tell me some stories from, about you, and like, where were you at in your life when you decided to get into the cigar business,
Yeah.
and what, what I mean, that kind of thing. Not,
Yeah.
the business of it, and the pimping the stuff. It's, I want to get to know you more as a person. That's why I got you on my show.
Yeah. I like that. And I think, like, when you think about some shows, there's some shows where, the guy's just going to sell his business or whatever. But I think maybe Joe Rogan or some of these different shows where, they about to have a real conversation. It's two men talking. It ain't no business thing.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, so let me know, why did you start your channel? What was that idea from? Why'd you start it?
Me? Well, I've been a content creator for a while. I kind of phased out of doing the photography thing. I used to make really good money as a photographer, especially back in the film days. And I just kind of got tired of it, and the digital age kind of killed everything for me. And so I started, watching a lot of YouTube and doing videos, and, so I, had my own personal channel that I was always posting stuff on. And then,
what kind of content was it?
Well, one of my other hobbies is, I like to take vintage hi-fi equipment and fix it and restore it. So like old amplifiers and receivers and turntables and stuff from back in the 70s, and when things were good, some of the solid state stuff, and I'd go in and go through the boards and replace capacitors and transistors and all that stuff. So I started a channel, and it kind of went along with my vinyl collecting, so I started a channel called the Hi-Fi Jedi.
All right, sounds good.
So I did that, and then I got another one, on my barbecue stuff that was called Chunk Light Barbecue. But the story with that is, when I like I said, I used to be really big. So my nickname in high school was Chunky, and I used to wear these sweatpants that said Chunky across the butt, and all had different colors and all this stuff. And everybody, in fact, people still to this day call me Chunky, And then I lost all that weight. So I was like, well, now I'm not chunky anymore. I'm chunk light, So I started doing that. But then I kind of rebranded that because I kind of want to get back into sharing, because I love to cook and I got a lot of really great recipes. So I changed the channel to the Old Fogey's Kitchen, and doing that. And then, but this community, and just the way that this makes me feel, and the awesome people that I've gotten involved with, it just is like, okay, this is what I want to do. And like, I do this because I like it. I love to shoot. I love to edit. I love coming up with cool stuff, doing the graphics and doing all the stuff, and I like to be unique, and I like to be different than everybody else, and keeping myself motivated to constantly progress and get better, and little shock values like, wow, look at that, and that makes me happy, and I do it for me, you know what I mean? And I've got a core of people that regularly watch my content, and I'm happy with that, you know what I mean? Because I do this for me. I do it because it makes me happy. Sharing my passion for cigars is what really keeps me motivated to put out content, to meet people, and just be excited about a hobby that I've grown to really love.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I think I like how you say it's the art form, even the challenge. Sometimes I know people say, "Oh, I hate editing." I like editing. I actually like making content. I'm the type of person who, I think it might be clear at this point. If I just stick to one thing and just did it, I would probably have more success. But to me, that's boring. I don't want to, and that's what I love about your content. I don't want to just do the same thing over and over. I could do rinse, wash, repeat. I could do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of clear. I've got it figured out what video I can do. 5 best this, 5 best that. I can do that. I can do 5 of those a day.
Yeah.
But then I get bored doing it, and so I'm always trying to think. And that's why I put other video. Okay, well, I got a video coming out. Best cigars to have with coffee, or even just to say, hey, how about non-alcoholic? How about just something different? Because for me, the fun is in the challenge. The fun is the art form, the creating the content. And so that's even why, when I do the lives, it's the topics I come up with. It's to say, hey, look, what if I do a show about deadbeat dads and how I hate them? Just something like that you think like, oh, that's a hard show to pull off. But I think, then let's do it. Let's challenge
the best
ourselves.
one though, Doctor. The best one though was how dare he? That show that we had where he was like, how dare he do this? And dude, that was the greatest show. Yeah. That was so fun.
That was a show based upon just canceling Rise and Grind. And I said, okay, how about I do it from the perspective of someone who hates this movement? And to me, it's just fun. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for fun because, like I keep saying, everything else in my life is very, very serious. It's weighty
and structured and have to. Not want to. It's have to.
So how about we do it and have some fun? As you talk about your journey, one of the big things for me was I learned so much. So I talk about I hang out in the pool halls and the cigar lounges, but those men didn't necessarily. There were some things they didn't teach me because we're in the pool hall. So I learned how to shave, believe it or not, from YouTube. I learned how to tie a tie watching YouTube. I learned some things that you figure, okay, well, where was your dad, or where? There's a lot of things I just learned watching YouTube. And so my thinking was, well, especially as I got older, became the big brother, Unc, now I'm an OG.
Yeah.
I thought, well, how about I just start teaching some stuff? Because it might just be second nature to me. And it's so funny because sometimes I'll hang out with my friends and we'll go to a cigar lounge and I'll sit down. I got my pouch and everything, my cutter, my lighter. I pull out my cigar, and I'm going through my little ritual, and I'm cutting and I'm lighting, and I look up, and I realize everyone's staring at me, and sometimes my friends will say, he'll say, man, it's a thing of beauty just watching you prep your cigar, like the way you do it, like you cut it perfectly, and you're so precise, and the way you light it, and it's almost like you're not breathing while you light it. You're just so focused. And I realized because I've done it a million times, and so it's second nature for me.
It just becomes habit.
Yeah, but I realized a lot of men don't know how to do that. It's not a habit for them. It's not a ritual.
Yeah. And
then when that thought settled on my mind, I said, well, wait a minute. What if I can start teaching some of this and sharing some of this, and that's again, that was the big point of the channel, to say, hey, how about this be a platform where people can learn some stuff, and just like I learned how to shave watching some guy shave on YouTube, maybe someone can watch what I'm doing and then maybe learn and pick up some things. All right, so
exactly, and just like we talked about, sharing with one another, maybe help somebody not ruin that $25 cigar they just bought or whatever. You know what I mean? They're new into it, and they think, oh, if so many people equate a dollar value with quality. You know what I mean? Just because it costs $40 don't mean it's a great cigar. You know what I mean? And I've met a lot of people that do that, but then I've seen them, cut it deep and it starts unraveling from the top and everything. And I myself, it took me a long time to really figure out how to cut things right and light them right and do whatever. And, the ability to share that with somebody, to let them learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, it takes a while. And I when I did the Basin video, I shared how just did an event and I went and I was smoking this Basin, and I never forget the thing about cigar memories. This is 2018. The memories just stick with you. As I'm there, there's a guy with his future father-in-law, and he's celebrating. I think he just started a business or something. Young guy. He's with his future father-in-law. And I remember exactly what they looked like. And they had they'd never smoked before. And so they went into the humidor. And I know they'd never smoked before, because they first sat next to me and they said, okay, we're celebrating this and that. And then they went with the tobacconist, and she got them some Padrones. And they both came out with some Padrones 1926s. And I remember watching them the whole time thinking, it's going to be a little rough. But they smoked it. I mean, they probably just smoked half of it.
Yeah.
And I remember, as you said, watching them celebrate, and now they're smoking like a $40 cigar, and I'm watching them. And I wish I could have said, hey, look, I know you want to celebrate, but it's your first time. And I wanted to give some advice, but I said, no, we don't do that. Just let the man smoke what he's smoking. And so again, I say that to share. That was one of the reasons for my channel. So say, hey, look, if you're smoking for your first time and you want to celebrate, okay, maybe the Padron 1926 ain't what you should grab. There's probably something else that's going to help you out in this moment. But I didn't want to say nothing, because again, you shouldn't be that guy in the lounge telling another man what he should smoke. So I said, okay, well, so that's how, these were the ideas that were in my mind when I started the channel. What would I say to a guy in a lounge? What would I share with him? Just a real, authentic. Someone said that the Guns and Water says that he understands what you're getting when you watch this. And I said, how can I make sure that it stays real and authentic, and just giving someone some sincere advice? All right, let's do this. And so here's a crazy thing. So I call my wife. Nickname I have for my wife is Chunky. Now my wife weighs like 120 pounds, so she's not a big girl or nothing. Shouts out to the big girls out there. We love you. We see you. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I don't know how that developed. My wife calls me Gordo, and I call her Chunky, and that's just what we do.
Sure.
And so when you said that people call you Chunky, like literally, that's what I call my wife. First, I walk in the house and I said Chunky, and so to hear you say that, and so we're gonna do, brother, hashtag Chunky. Go ahead, hashtag Chunky. I don't have a bottle here.
Well, I tell you what, I was just thinking. With hashtag Chunky, so I'm gonna do a giveaway, and please, Doctor, if you will run this thing for me,
do it.
And everybody that does hashtag Chunky, I'm gonna send out one of those Opus 20ths. I'm gonna send an Amazon Basin 2026 and something else that I think is delicious. And you get with him next Friday. He'll say who wins, and then we'll talk about me getting your address. I'm gonna do a cigar giveaway.
Much appreciated. All right, so that's what we're giving away. Hashtag Chunky. He said it is. You said an Opus X 20th.
Yeah. What I'm smoking right now, one of the 20th, the Power of the Dreams, and an Amazon Basin, and probably, I don't know, maybe a Ferio Tego Timeless or something like that.
All right, so you heard it here. So hashtag Chunky, man. That's this is what are friends for? I was like, what am I gonna get the people? So
I love sending out cigars,
Chunky,
man.
about to get you.
I love it.
Hashtag Chunky. You're gonna get you Opus X, Amazon Basin. Hashtag Chunky. All right, and then we'll actually start the show. We're gonna actually start. All right. I'm just getting caught up. We got all the hashtag Chunkies. Thanks for rocking out. All right, we're gonna dive into this. So I said, "Oh, folk," I said, "You know what?" And this is gonna be the question as I figure out. Okay, when I bring people on, what am I gonna ask them? And I said, ask them the thing that I think is an important thing for me, because I think that in so many of our platforms, we got to almost like we got to be someone else or someone different. And I say this especially like as a pastor. So when I'm at my church, I can't say what I want to say, because my people. But when I'm a guest at someone else's church, I go crazy. I can say whatever I want. And
Yeah.
so I don't have to worry about the people not liking me. Look, I'm not coming back. Look, I can say whatever I want. And so I always want to say to my guests, first time I'm asking someone this question, what's the thing you want to say here? You can't say this on your show or your platform because you won't get canceled, and that's gonna be it. But you can say it here. So what's the thing you've been wanting to say, but you can't say it because you don't want to ruffle too much feather. So go for it. Go for it. We go for it.
Well, I pretty much speak my mind, and I've let whiskey let my mouth get in trouble many times, But if I was gonna say anything, is like, I really, like you said, I really want to get away from all the hype. I really want to get away from, you know, uh, people that are just, have an agenda. They're trying to promote sales, and they're trying to, pimp cigars because they're in with the cigar, sellers and distributors and whatever, and turn this community back around into just like this, a good experience, a way to share the hobby, and way to enlighten one another with all of our experiences. I'm so tired of watching stuff that's just like, oh, you got to buy this and you got to do that, and you have, this is the best, and then, quite frankly, a lot of the stuff that I've been influenced to buy, in that way, I haven't liked it. You know what I mean? I felt like I wasted my money. I felt like, this is okay. It ain't worth all that, and I sure in the hell shouldn't have bought 5-pack of them. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
God bless the people that I do buy certain cigars from online, but people, support your local B&Ms. You know what I mean? Um, the relationships that you build with those people, and coming in and talking to them and buying cigars from them and supporting them, because it's a tough business, I'm sure. And I don't want them to go away. I want, I like to be. I got this great humidor that actually is right around the corner from where I work, and I met this gal that owns it. Her name's Cassie, and
Shouts
it's
out to her. What's the name of the lounge? Is it a lounge or
it's called the
shop?
Cigar Room,
Cigar room in
and
Kansas City.
yeah, it's in Lee Summit, Missouri, and she she never ceases to amaze. I mean, I walked in there the other day, and uh, she had 2 boxes. She had a box of Atabay Sabios and a box of the Atabay Diosos, the big Churchill ones,
Mm-hmm.
and
Those.
and I'm always giving her cigars. So like I've given her, like, I'll just stop in, I'll have a bag of cigars. It's like, hey, here's that definition Nilio, here's this
Good one.
Matilde, saying Hoseus, and then this and that, and I've given her a lot of cigars. And then she turns around, and she started watching my channel. She sees like the stuff that I like to have, and she went home and grabbed me Opus X Dubai and just gave it to me. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Because she's like, man, you're giving me cigars all the time,
Wow.
and she gave me a nice stocking cap with her logo on it, which you've probably seen, and I've worn that all winter. And like today, I just stopped in and talked to her and her husband Chris,
Mm.
and I didn't buy any cigars, but we just talked about the industry and this and that, and she was telling me about, she's seen on Facebook that Drew Estate's getting ready to make some big announcement
Yeah.
coming up, and this and that, and we just share the information and stuff, and also we've been talking about how these social media platforms
Mhm.
are like, they're taking your recommendations away, and they're doing this and doing
Mhm.
that, and I've also heard from a few people that are doing some stuff that they watch their videos and that AI is going in and transforming some stuff on their videos
Oh
and like
man.
changing some backgrounds and doing some stuff. And she's all about that because as a retailer,
Yeah.
her ability to be able to sell is really cut because of all of the restrictions. So
Mhm.
that's why I go in and support her. That's where to me it's at. Yeah, do I buy some stuff online? Yeah, because there's some cigars that I want to try that nobody has here in town. But for the most part, build those relationships,
Yeah,
stick
it's
with your
important.
local B&Ms, and try to support those people because they'll take care of you in the long run. Trust me.
Oh, yeah, I do believe that. I love how you talk about in your town, and I'm gonna be in Kansas City at some point. So my
Nice.
church has we do a lot of meetings out there. That's one of our hubs. So I'll be out there at some point,
I
probably in the
look
fall.
forward to it.
So
I
it's
look
gonna be
forward
on.
to it.
And I love how
Yeah.
you talk about it's a woman owned cigar lounge. Sounds like,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I say that because right now, what did I light up? So I just finished my Oliva Series V Milanio, and I just lit up a Karen Burger. And so one thing
Nice.
about me, what I like, you're gonna see me smoke. And so, sure, yes, I got the Atabays, and I just got on the truth. I just got a shipment of not a shipment. I just got a couple Atabay Black, not a shipment. I got a couple in today. But if I sit in here and I really want to smoke what I like, it's in a Series V Milanio. I really do like it. Someone asked me, in fact, Shredder Knife says, "What cigar do I keep going back over the years, no matter how much new stuff?" If somebody likes something, you're gonna really see that they like it. So sure, I can sit here and smoke whatever cigar. I got it all. If I'm sitting here smoking a Series V Milanio because I really like it, and if I'm sitting here smoking, so I love it how you mentioned that there's this woman-owned cigar lounge
Yeah.
out in
And she's
Kansas
really
City,
cool. She's a
and
really
so I'm
cool
smoking
lady.
a cigar put out by a woman, by Karen Berger, and you saw my last video best cigars I've had recently. Karen Berger. So when I tell you something's good, it's good. And I got this from my sister Joe. She sent this. She sent me a whole bunch of them. This is the
Nice.
Maduro. And like I said in that video, and even right now, I just smoked the Series V Milanio. This cigar always wows me.
Well, I'm getting ready to light up a Don Carlos Shark for my second one.
Good stuff. This cigar
Well,
last show.
you turned me on to the Don
Did
Carlos
I?
stuff, man. Oh
Did
yeah.
I? Oh, Don Carlos. So as Shredder asked this question, Milanio and Don Carlos. Those are the two I just go back to. But as I smoke this cigar, this is like an $8 cigar. Last week I smoked the turducken, just a meaty, oily, just a tasty cigar. Then I followed it up with one of these, and I was left thinking, wow, a cigar has to. Can you imagine what a cigar tastes like if I'm sitting here talking for 2 hours, smoking, drinking water, and I'm like, oh, I can taste this. This thing tastes
Yeah.
delicious. That's a key. If you hanging out with your friends and you smoking a cigar, and I did the video saying if all you getting is subtle notes, my friends, we ain't trying to get no subtle notes. Old
Yeah.
fogies from Kansas City. Can you imagine how much barbecue he eats? Can you imagine all the sauce and the salt and the vinegar? And we ain't
Yeah.
trying to do no subtle notes. What I have for dinner, I had some cornbread and some chicken wings. So I can't come out here and smoke nothing with no subtle notes. Like, look, so if I tell you this cigar tastes good, I'm drinking in moderation. I got this Wild Turkey 101 8-year. I'm sure it's 100 proof. Actually, it's even more. It's 101 proof. I'm doing a video coming up soon called Cigars for the American Palate. Because look, we eat different, we smoke different, we drink different, we different. So I'm saying all that to say, so this woman, a cigar put out by a woman, is something I reach for. I could have reached for anything else, but I said, look, on a night like tonight, I want to smoke was right, was perfect. I can't be spending the time relighting and doing all that. No, it's got to taste good, and I got to enjoy this. All right, so my brother, he's got the Don Carlos.
Well, and I'll tell you one of the ones. So, answering your question from my end, I'll tell you a cigar that I really enjoy that I smoke quite a lot of is the EP Carrillo Encore Majestic. I love a box press. That's a
Yes.
really good, solid cigar, and I smoke those quite a bit. I really enjoy that cigar.
Yeah. Oh, that's an amazing cigar. I thought about grabbing the pledge. I thought about grabbing the pledge tonight. I love the Encore. I love the pledge. Yeah, EP Carrillo puts out some good
I
stuff.
just had my first Pledge Black a couple days ago. The Pledge Black, and it was good. And I've had that one. That one's been sitting in my humidor for probably about 8 months, and I smoked it a couple days ago, and it was delicious.
Yeah. All right. What's up to the good people? My brother says, "It's a lot of pain feels better when he watches the show. Makes it feel better, and that's all. That's all we had to do. Sometimes we're gonna get all wild and crazy. Sometimes, you know what? Men can just sit and chill and relax. And if you can't vibe and just be cool, be calm. Now, can we do the funny stuff and the controversial stuff? Yeah, we can do all that. But I think a real man can just sit and you know, I'm seeing the comments. I'm saying, look. If you can't just sit and chill and relax, you saying something more about you. Like a man can just sit and relax. I mean, this is what the lounge looks like. The lounge ain't a man sitting there arguing all the time. No. Sometimes, sure.
Sometimes,
yeah, we gonna go at it.
Politics and religion
tonight,
is the ones that usually go crazy.
Yeah, but can you sit and chill and relax and just unwind? And so that's the point of tonight's show. Now, so let's do this. So Foggy shared about himself, shared about his journey, shared about why he started his channel. He said some of the things he you know would might get him some hot water if he was to say it elsewhere. Brother, his second cigar is the Man of War Ruination. I used to love that cigar. I haven't had that in a while.
Never tried that one.
Love that. I believe it's an AJ cigar.
Is it?
And so when I started with the fake Cuban, and then like everyone else, I started with a bunch of Connecticut's. And then, I went through the whole journey of stuff like the Man of War and those kind of things. A lot of diesels, smoked a lot of those. And it was really just enjoying it. So I started off with punch and power and just heft. And then in time I said, all right, let me pull away. And that's when I started with the Melanios and the Don Carlos.
Yeah.
Let's say this. So one of the points of today's show was going to be, all right, bring the smoke. And I like to say this because I like to. Here's what I realize in life. Men ain't the same no more. And we got the keyboard warriors. This is a new thing for me. I'm learning this. I'm learning this. I'm used to if a man says something, hey, walk up to a guy. What would you say? How you really feel? We're not in that day and time anymore. We're in a day and a time where folks can get to type it and say what's on their mind, and on their chest. I'm like, okay. My brother Ryan, loving the Cuban crafters. Before I go on, old Foggy was mentioning, as you talk about the woman-owned cigar lounge that he visits out there. I'm smoking a woman-owned cigar in it. The reason why I have my Amazon bays in 2026. And so Cuban Crafters is in Miami off of 8th Street. It's on 9th Street. But on 8th Street, there's a spot called Cigar Boutique, ran by a guy named Caesar. And Caesar, I was literally at work. I was chilling, and Caesar called me up. Said, hey, I got the Amazon Basins. I live in California. Caesar's in Miami. Caesar called me up. and he said, "Hey, I got something I think you might like." I haven't seen Season like in 2 years. I don't even live in Miami anymore. He called me up, says, I got something you might like. He said, I got these Amazon bays in 2026. And I wasn't even thinking about buying them. He says, I got a box here for you. Of course, MSRP, the real price.
Yeah.
I said, all right. I said, go ahead. I'm going to send you the money. Go ahead and send it. And so having these relationships, actually, because whenever I'm in Miami, I visit Caesar Cigar Boutique on 8th Street. You got to get outside, my friends. Look a man in the eye, look a woman in the eye, shake their hands, talk to them, get to know them, 100%. Become real with them. All the cigars I get, I don't chase and hunt. It's always from somebody like that. Someone saying, hey, I was thinking about you. I'm gonna send you the cigar. Hey, I got a box here for you. You want it? Of course, I got to buy it. But I do think when we get back to just being us, real men, real woman, then you don't have to worry about all the chasing and the hype and the hunting. And I mean, I'm getting stuff sent to me, exclusive stuff, just off of a good relationship. And so I encourage you all to do that. Don't in this digital age, I know we're doing a show live, but don't get outside, my friends. Go to your lounge, talk to people, talk to the owner, not in a transactional way, but talk to people in a real way. All right. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciation to you. I appreciate you.
Very generous.
1Z07. Kentucky Fire Cured is a heck of a smoke. Enjoy that one, my friend. I thank you for the super chat. I thank everyone that's leaving a comment, that's watching on a Friday night. We chilling, doing what we do. Every show I can be like, oh, man, my last show was my best show. Because every week we're just bringing you something real, authentic. Thinking outside the box. Sure, I know what sells. Could I sit here and be like, oh, controversial topic? Yeah, but men don't always have to do that. Men can sit here and be like, you know what? Let's just chill. Let's vibe. Yeah. All right, now let's do this. In fact, I'm going to let old Fogey answer this because he literally met Nick Perdomo just the other day. What was your favorite Perdomo?
Well, I like, some of the new legacies. I like that, that 12th, but my favorite is the 30th anniversary. I smoke those a lot. That's a really, really great cigar. And that bar none, that's my favorite Perdomo is that 30th anniversary.
Which one? I know he does them all like this, probably the Shade, or is it Legacy, or which one is that? 30th anniversary? Which one?
Well, it's just the 30th anniversary. It's just the one. Okay. It's more of a like a medium cigar. It's not it's not a heavy one. I'm trying to think.
Okay, 30th anniversary. Yeah, I know I love the champagne. I think I've had like the barrel age. I think, in fact, that might be what Mark's talking about here. The 12-year vintage Maduro. No, I had like some barrel age one that I think was really good. I've heard his shade grown ones are pretty good, and the whole Legacy line is pretty good.
Yeah,
so Perdomo, good prices.
So this 30th, it's a medium to full body. It's an Ecuadorian Connecticut, 15-year-old bourbon barrel aged wrapper. 15-year-old Cuban seed Nicaraguan binders and fillers, and it's really good. I like to smoke those quite a bit.
Oh yeah, and Perdomos, the quality on them, it's just going to be exceptional. So when you look at Perdomo, when you look at we always talk about the Padrones and the Arturo Fuentes, but Perdomo, EP Carrillo, or whatever it's called now, like
Casa Carrillo, yeah.
Casa de Carrillo. I think he's out of Miami. So there's some good stuff out here. And that's why I just like to. There's a segment of us who that's what we smoke. And again, as I travel to the lounges, I just find it so fascinating. I don't see the cigars, and that's the whole point of my channel, I guess. I don't see the cigars that I see in all these lists. I'm always like, I find out about the cigars from the list, but I don't really see them in real life. In real life, I see Perdomos, I
Yeah.
see Casa de Carrillo, I see Olivas, I see Padrones, I see Arturo Fuentes. And shouts out to the new guys. Again, shouts out to the Lamperts. There's some companies you mentioned earlier, Definition. So there's some good
Yeah.
companies
They're
out
doing
here.
some amazing stuff.
Yeah, there's some good
Hey,
companies
give me
out
just a minute. I need to go grab a new
there.
beverage to go with this Don
Do it.
Carlos. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. As old fogey steps away. And so we appreciate the people. You guys are here. Next week, like I said, I think we're gonna do something like I like to talk about the generations. I got a show in mind entitled "The Weakest Generation." I'm thinking of doing that. I got some things in mind. We're gonna talk about cigar culture, but I want us to just chill tonight. Bring my brother on. My guy says he rocks with the champagne a lot. I enjoy that one. Young likes the 20th anniversary. We are being blessed tonight. This look, yo. Thank you. Palettes and Opinions podcast. We appreciate you, brother. You're right. Let's get back to being men and women, face to face conversations. This channel is all based on the conversation. In fact, if you go real far, look at my first videos. My first videos ends with a conversation. And why did I do that? Because I remember my very first video, I shot the video. It was like some whiskey video, like, I don't know, best affordable whiskey. I shot the video, and when I got done, it was like a 6-minute video. And my wife was my camera person at the time. She's behind the camera. That's before I learned how to be a one-man show. My wife is behind the camera. We shoot the video, and she's like, that's it? She's like, it's a 6-minute video. I was like, yeah, I'm done. There's nothing else to say. Here's the 5 whiskeys you ought to get. And she's like, you can't do a 6-minute video. She's like, talk more. Like, be yourself. Say something. Say something else you want to say. And I said, what else do I have to say? And she said, I don't know. Just talk to him like you're talking to a friend.
And you do. And one of the things that I really, loved about you, Doctor, first starting out, this verbiage that you're pumping out is coming from your heart. You're not reading a teleprompter. You're not, you know what I mean? It's all you. It's obvious that, this information and everything that you're sharing with everybody comes from you. And, there's so many that you watch and they're just like, they're just reading it, and I would imagine that, doing sermons and stuff, sometimes you have to read or do whatever. And, at least if you're doing that, you learn how to do the eye thing to where it doesn't look like you're really doing that. Yeah. But, it's obvious the ones that do, and you definitely don't. And I really appreciate that about your content is it's just like you've got a lot of information and a lot to say and you're not reading it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's from the heart. And so that first video, I said, okay, let me just, not to say fill the time, but let me just keep talking. And so I said, okay. At the end of the video, I said, okay, for our conversation. And I just said the first thing that came to mind. And it was something like, I don't know, watch who your friends are. And I just spoke on it. And then she goes, yeah, that's what you should do. And then before you know it, I did a couple more videos and I always ended it with a conversation. And then I had the one video that blew up, the Blanton's video. And I saw all the comments, and all the comments were people saying, wow, the Blanton's information was cool, but I like what you said at the end. I like the conversation. I like when you got real. And so I said, wow, you telling me people want to hear some real stuff? Like they're not all fixated on the whiskey and the cigar. And like, no, people want to hear something that's real. And so that's why I go back to what my brother said. Like,
stories.
People want to hear, like, men being men, women being women. And just, can we get back to talking? Can we get back to, do we have stuff to say? And
you're talking about how you're the crappiest reviewer ever. Well, I didn't really want to get into this to do reviews either. I wanted to do something different. And it's like, even if I'm smoking a cigar and I'm talking about it, I'm sharing the memories of like
Mm.
what, like I remember I did this one video where it was like I was smoking the cigar and I tasted something. I was like, wow, what is this? What is? And it brought me back to this little place
Man.
called the Bonefish down in Little Rock, Arkansas, that had this chocolate creme brulee. I've never had one before, and I had one when I was down there. And I was smoking this cigar, and I was like, yeah, it's that chocolate creme brulee from Bonefish in
Remember?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of
Yeah,
stuff that I want to do. I want to put out. It doesn't,
real.
And these guys. So here's something else that I want to share with you that
Tell it.
that I'm going to say on your channel because I'm sick and tired of this shit. All right.
Oh, now
Um,
it's coming out. Oh, that's what we're waiting for. So now
all
45
right.
minutes in. Okay, we have to start the show.
Well, so I've switched gears and I've been a good boy and it's been a long
Mm-mm,
week. And
that
so
doesn't work.
speaking of locals,
You about to do what I
so
do.
we have this local brewery in Kansas City that's called Boulevard Brewing Company, and they make some of the most amazing beers. They've paired with like Christopher Elbow and done like chocolate ales, and they've got like a Neapolitan, and they did like a pecan pie. And so this is their Irish cream stout, and dude, this is 11%. So sipping on this one beer for an hour is lovely. But
Okay.
anyway, so I want to kind of get back to what I was talking about. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I get to the point where it's like I'm tired of um, having people tell me what I need to do, what I need to smoke, what I need to drink. Um,
Yeah.
my palate is subjective to me. Um, it, you know, nobody's ever wrong. You guys are never wrong. If you like what you like, then go for
Mm-hmm.
that. Don't let
Mm-hmm.
these people tell you that you're wrong or that just
Yeah.
because you go buy a bundle of factory smoked cigars for $90 and you got shit to smoke for 2.5, 3 weeks. Good for you.
Enjoy it.
Smoke what you want to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your own story. You know what
Man,
I mean?
man, I
Don't
do.
don't don't be swayed, and don't allow people to influence you to thinking that you're wrong, because you're
Mm.
not. Because
No.
you like what you like, and that's it. That's where
Yeah.
it's
Oh
at.
yeah.
That's the sweet spot.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I
And
mean?
and, and I try to show that even through the comedy. And I think Nate made a comment earlier. I think, or maybe it was Ryan, because I sent him some of my just local $4 Cuban crafters house
I
blend.
bought I bought some of those Cuban
You did.
crafters house
Yeah.
blends because you recommended them to me, and I
Like them?
bought some, and I still got some in my humidor. Those
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a good cigar
Yeah.
for the
Man.
price. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. This is just good stuff. And again, it's tobacco. And so tobacco from the earth. And
Yeah,
if you come to understand where the tobacco comes from, there's probably a field. Listen, the land doesn't know that it's Arturo Fuentes' field versus Cuban Crafters' field. The land is just the land. The tobacco is just the
Genesis
tobacco.
Genesis 1:12. I've given
Was
you all the seed bearing
Oh
plants
my
to
God.
use.
Jeez. You're quoting scripture on us.
You
Good
know?
stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
The land doesn't know
Uh-uh.
where it is, and so you'll have that, and that's why even if when you buy the fake Cubans, and I'm not trying to promote buying fake Cubans, but it's still Cuban. It's still grown. The soil is Cuban. The guy
Yeah.
that rolled it is still Cuban. It's still the same thing. And so that's why I even just try to even make fun of it. And so, yes, that's why I'll do a video and say, hey, well, look, I guess I'm the worst cigar reviewer because, look, I'm not going to tell you all that extra nonsense.
Well, and here's the other thing that I want to
Mm-hmm.
tack onto my rant is these people that freaking go out and they got 17 different tasting notes on one cigar. I'm calling bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number one, and I'll throw out some, because I cook. and I know spices, and I'll be like, well, this tastes like this and this tastes like that, but I'm not throwing out 17 different tasting notes on one cigar through all the thirds. That is bull crap.
No.
You know, I am over that. Stop doing it. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Maybe 5, 6 tasting notes on a cigar is good, not 17. So stop.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I remember, and everything, and I wanna be clear about this. Everything that I'm doing now, and I say this so often. So 5 years ago, I didn't have a channel. I didn't think about having a channel. Those who were watching content, there was a guy named Ron Real. So he was the top guy. So just YouTube search Ron Real. So before there was a Rise and Grind or anyone,
he influenced you to do what you're doing.
Yeah, there was Ron Real, and Ron Real was just the top. He was the best, absolute best. It was just hands down. No one was even competing with Ron Real. Ron Real was the absolute best, and if you watch the things that Ron Real was saying, you watch the gripes he was having. He literally did a video called like "Stop the BS." That's literally what he said. He said, "Look, stop the BS with all these tasted notes. You guys are lying."
Word.
And he came up with a video. And here's the thing: when he did that video, of course everybody got mad. Ron Real was the best. So before whoever you think is the best now, Ron Real was the man. He's like the first cigar channel other than like Brian and Cigar Vixen and them. Ron Real was the creative one, and he just started being honest.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was watching. And then when I started my channel, I said, okay, yeah, that's what kind of influenced me. So I said, okay, well, how about I just be honest and authentic? And then I saw the same thing that happened to Ron Real happened to me. And then I think the only difference is whatever reason he stopped doing content. The only difference with me is I just stayed in it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna have fun with this. Yeah, I said it. And I'm gonna say more. And I'm gonna say more and more and more and more and more. And then I just started having fun with it. But I share that to express, if you tell me 5 years ago the top guy doing content was like, look, can y'all stop with the BS? And now 5 years later, here I am just saying the same thing. And I'm not copying what he was saying, but I'm just speaking the truth. And so that's just something you
can use his format to incorporate that into what you're trying to convey to people. You know?
Oh yeah. All right, so we about to get into it. Mindless says monthly cigar box subscriptions. Let me say two things, because I don't want to, I'm a businessman. I try to push products and all that. I've been using since the start of, since they started, I would say. I rock with let's just say with Luxury. I rock with Luxury, and so they send me out. You pay the monthly subscription.
Yeah, they got some solid offerings.
Yeah. I rock, and I've been with them since they started. So I'm probably like one of the first members, like 5 years ago. It's one of those things where I kind of set it and forget it. So I think I'm a Palladium member, and so they send some stuff. So it gives me an opportunity to see what's new, what's out. That's the only benefit I get in it. Now, I know a lot of people, and again, and you might one day see Brian from Privado on this show. I do think that experience that he provides, I think it's a good experience if you want to know what are cigars. And here's the thing, I just mentioned Ron Real. Brian will be the first one to tell you. He'll say, hey, look, this tobacco comes from Nicaragua, right next to where the Padrones come from. And so he's just pretty much letting you know that, look, it's the same thing. And he puts like a cute band on it, and he'll let you know, look, it's the same tobacco. So he's going on a whole journey of just, not to say trying to dismantle the industry, but sharing the truth and letting people know So that's what I love
Man,
with the Pravada experience. He's sharing with you, saying, "Hey, look, if you want a good cigar, his cigars is just regular cigars, but aged. It's
I
all
just
the
had
same
this
thing."
conversation with Cassie at the cigar room today, and we were talking about what you brought up about all these new craft cigars and their price points and everything. And she's like, well, yeah, because these guys don't have a cigar factory.
No,
You
they
know what I
don't.
mean? They don't. So they got to buy these things from, it's mostly probably Placencia tobacco
It always.
and whatever. And, these guys don't have a factory. So they're going down there, they're trying to put together a blend, and but they're not getting the stuff cheap either because they don't have a factory,
No.
so they are marking this stuff up to the sky to be able to make some money off some
Yeah.
stuff that they're not even really making,
They're not at all.
and
They're,
that's just
they're not at all.
ridiculous. It's just
They're
ridiculous.
not at all. Again, from the harvesting, from the planting of the seeds, the harvesting, the aging, cigars just like whiskey. And so this whiskey right here, 8 years. So this is Wild Turkey. Obviously, they've been in business for more than 8 years. Now, if you're a cigar company and you come out with a 12-year cigar and you just started,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
where
that's what I'm talking about.
so where does the cigar come from? So like you
Yeah.
just said, so you got it from Placencia, you got
Mhm.
it from Aganorsa.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the same. And again, even some of the big companies, and this isn't like shade to them, but you look at JC Newman, and they'll even admit it. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But their tobacco comes from Fuente, and so any JC Newman you have,
it's
that's a
like
Fuente
even
cigar.
that. So that
Yeah, the
that
Questra
Opus
Del Rey and
that
all that stuff.
Opus Humidor that I got, when I got it in the box, it said J.C. Newman Company on it, not Fuente.
Yeah,
So it's like they're the importers, they're
it
the
is.
ones that does all that, and
Yeah.
there's so many nuances and so many goings ons with that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And so if you got a JC Newman like the Julius Caesar, it's gonna say made at the Fuente de Chateau, and so it's coming from Fuente. It's Fuente.
Yeah.
Most cigars, look, ain't but four places. It's Placencia tobacco, it's Aganorsa tobacco,
Mm-hmm.
it's Fuente tobacco, it's Padron tobacco, or it's AJ tobacco.
Yeah.
That's about it. And Oliva's got their own thing, so it ain't a whole ton of places.
No.
Oliva, the Fuente, Padron, they tend to do their own thing. Aganorsa and Placencia, they're the ones who grow it for everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's very rare. So again, just in the past, so when they came out with the Alma del Fuerte, that was really Placencia's like first time putting their own name on something. So they've been doing it for everybody else for forever. But they finally said, you know what, let's put our own name on it. And Aganorsa's been doing that for forever. And so that's why most cigars have like 1 of 5 tastes. The Aganorsa taste is going to be, maybe a bit more saltier. The Placencia taste is going to be a bit more stronger. And so this is why if you're smoking a cigar and you're like, oh, this reminds me of the Alma
a
del
little
Fuerte.
more pepper
Because it
forward
is.
and have a little bit of sting to it, but it's the depth of it, and the thing I like about the Placencia tobacco is how it lingers on my tongue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. All right. My brother says, damn, the tasting notes. Is it good or is it not? And
Yeah.
so that's good. Try to stay in that
Hurry up
lane.
now,
Is it
tell
good?
me.
Is it good or is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
No.
think,
Is it good? Is it
Yeah.
is it phantasmagorical or is it a dog
Mhm.
turd? I mean,
No.
that's all we really want to know. I
Yeah.
don't need to know that it tastes like fig and plum and alma
Mhm.
root and all this crap. You know what I mean? No. Is it a good cigar? Does it smoke well? Is it constructed well? Is it worth the money? Now, that's the big question. Is it
Mhm.
worth the money you are paying for it? Because that's another rant I'm going to go on. Is
Oh, yeah.
and
Worth it.
we brought this up earlier. It's like no. No, that is not an
No,
$18 cigar. That is a
no.
$9 cigar,
Oh yeah,
and
and they all are.
I'm not trying to put a new Buick in the garage for your wife. You know.
That's all it is. So two things I would say. And again, I shared with you my first video, and again, from a content creation standpoint, here's what I realized from the start: there's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
There's only so much fluff you can say. I mean, and so literally, my first couple of videos, I said, okay, here's the whiskey you ought to buy. Here's the cigar you ought to buy. And I realized if I'm just being honest and I just say the truth, that's like 3-4 minutes. And then what I did, I said, okay, look, if I'm going to talk about the cigar, and you see my videos, I'm telling you about the cigar for like 2-3 minutes. But what I did, here's a little difference. I said, you know what? The cigar is, okay, it's good. All right. Now I'm going to talk to you as a person. We're going to have some conversation. If you want to stick around, but we're going to have a conversation. That's what I decided to do. The other option is I could stretch it. And that's where all the fluff and the nonsense, I could tell you it tastes like pumpkin spice, and I can tell you it tastes like sea. I can stretch it. Look, I'm a preacher. I can make a 2-minute speech take 20 minutes. I can stretch it out. But now I'm just fluff. I'm just filling the air. Why? Because the video, I want the video to be 10 minutes instead of 2.
Well,
the choice I made is to say, look, let's talk.
Friday night community, because everybody that's over in this column typing and being a part of this and doing everything is going to call you out on that BS. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, no. And they know different. That's why they're here. Man. That's why we're all here, is because this is a safe place. This is a place where we can just come. You know, it's a virtual cigar lounge. You know what I mean? We're all over the country. We're wherever, and we can just come together and we can talk about real stuff and and share each other's thoughts and likes and whatever. And I have, since I've been in here, I've read comments about people that have really enjoyed some cigars. So I've sought those out and I've tried them, and it's like, and that's what it's all about,
It is. So one is about us just being honest, and that's why I'll say, even as a reviewer, as a guy doing videos, lots of videos,
as a crappy reviewer,
I'll say, hey, look, here's the deal. The cigar is good. Now I'm going to talk to you. If you want to hang out, we talk. We gonna talk because we men, right? So I'm just going to be honest with you. So for one, a lot of content is just based upon filling the airspace, filling the time. The other thing I would say is, and that's why I'm really just trying to consider. And again, we're men, women. Come on. You over the age of 25? You got some.
We're adults. We're adults.
If I bring a brand on, why you think that brand owner is on? You think he's just here to hang out and talk? And look, let me guess. If and I'm not dissing nobody, but if I bring on the guy who owns whatever Oliva, he's there to sell Oliva. He's there to sell you. That's why he's there. He's there to push the product on you. And so that's why I really want to. If I ever venture into that, it'll have to be done in such a way, because sure, if I bring you a salesman for Toyota, let me guess, the Camry is the best car ever made. And if I bring on the salesman for Honda, so what are we gonna do? Sit here and talk about the
oil and antifreeze in that baby, you're gonna get 300,000 miles.
Yeah, come on. So it's a pointless conversation. If I bring on a State Farm rep, he's gonna talk about State Farm, and so I feel
he's not going to be talking about Patrick Mahomes this year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, let's do this. Because I always like to. This is supposed to be the. We'll bring the smoke. So I appreciate the good men, the good women. We here 2 hours in. The time just flies by.
It does. Well, one of the things that you talked to me earlier about, and if you don't mind, I want to share this. You were like, tell me a little bit about your background and where you come from and everything. So from a religious standpoint, when I was 4 years old, my grandmother and my mother got me into the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I grew up I grew up a Jehovah's Witness and had to deal with all that in the 70s. And, it was, the talk and the watchtower and the theocratic ministry school on Thursdays. And we had the book study at our house on Tuesday nights where they'd have a publication that everybody would study and do whatever. And dude, my mom would always make me like take the 800-pound Kirby and sweep the rugs downstairs and do the stairs. And then back in the 70s, dude, they used to have this thing called shag, and you could vacuum that with a 1,200-pound Kirby, but then you had to take this plastic rug rake and rake it up so that the shit would stand up. And I had to do all that, and then I had to give up holidays, and I had to give up birthdays, and I couldn't stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance at school, and I couldn't at Chiefs games and Royals games. I couldn't stand up, and we sat down. You know what I mean? And had all this stuff to deal with as a kid. And then skipping ahead, my parents got divorced when I was about 15. And my dad stayed down in Wichita with my dad owned a camera store, and my brother stayed down there and worked for him. Well, I had to come up and take care of my mom and my sister in Independence, Missouri. And I was out at a theater one night, and I come home. I was out in my buddy's CJ5 Jeep, and we went to go see some show up at the Independence Square. I came home, and there was like 8 black trash bags out in the driveway, and I'm like, man, did mom clean out the garage today or something? What is all this? And I go and I put my key in the door, and the chain is locked, and I'm beating on the door. I'm like, Mom, let me in. And she had these little glass louvered windows on the house, and she cranked them open, and she just yells down to me. She's just like, Sean, you can't live here anymore. I just can't deal with you. I was 17 years old.
Oh, man.
17. Had nowhere to go. And it was because I didn't want to go to her church anymore. You know what I mean? I had moved around so much. I was trying to be me and figure out who I am and whatever. And been on my own ever since. You know what I mean? Everything I have and everything that I've done and everything that I know is self-taught. I didn't go to college. I didn't have any of that privilege. You know what I mean? Now, when I grew up, I was spoiled rotten brat. My dad made fat money, and we had all the toys, and we lived across the street from the president of the Bank of Jacomo, and his name was actually Richard Pryor. And but anyway, you know, so I've had a hard go. I've had a lot of things that have really put a lot of stumbling blocks in my way.
In your journey.
All through that, all that knowledge and everything that I acquired, you know, about God and Jesus and everything got me through all that, you know, because I think, you know, so much people think that like prayer and all this stuff has to be the structured thing. It has to be, you know, like the Lord's Prayer or whatever. No, I'll drive around during the day, and it's like Jesus is sitting in the passenger seat, and I just talk to him. You know, that person didn't mean to cut me off. Don't let me be upset by that or whatever. Or, you know, look at this. This is a beautiful thing. Be with that person, Lord, because they need you today. And just progressing through all of the things that I've had to overcome in my life and get to where I am, you know what I mean?
I do.
That's one of the things that has brought me to this. It has brought me to an appreciation. It has brought me to a place where I can feel like, okay, I've been through some things, and I've seen some things, and I've done some things. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, I pray for a lot because they're way less fortunate than I am, you know, but I've had a pretty hard go of it. But, man, just where I'm at in my life now, this cigar thing and everything about it is, it's a zen for me. It's a peace for me. And, you know, I really, you know what I mean?
I do. You know, as you mentioned your journey, let me ask you this. As my brother, my frat brother, fraternity brother.
Hey, Shock. Love you, brother.
He says, is there anyone from your past you would smoke with if you could today? That's a great question. As you talk about your past, your journey, anyone you would
Well, my dad. So I just
tell us.
lost my dad about
Yeah,
7 months ago,
yeah.
and he died from COPD. Dad was a dad was a smoker. Grandma was a smoker. I can remember being over at my grandma's house. I was 13 years old, and it was New Year's Eve, and we were
Mm-hmm.
smoking merits and shit. You know, Grandma would let me smoke. Well, Dad
Cigarettes?
smoked, yeah, cigarettes, and Dad smoked cigarettes forever. And then he started smoking cigars, but he started smoking like crap cigars, and he started inhaling, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it just tore his lungs up. And then
Mm-hmm.
he got diagnosed to live like maybe 5 years, and he lived for like 13 years. You know what I mean? But
Unreal.
you know, a lot of this, me wanting to smoke, and all the years I've been a smoker, and you know, and all the cigarettes and all the bud and all the other, you know,
Mm-hmm.
back in the late '80s when you know we learned how to freebase and all that kind of stuff, you know. But anyway, I wish that I could sit down with my father and my
Wow.
grandpa. My grandpa, he'd smoke a cigar every once in a while, but grandpa used to chew cigars. We'd be out
Mm-hmm.
in the back porch, and he used to grow rhubarb, and we'd be out in the back porch with the BB gun, and he'd be chewing on a cigar, and he would give me the BB gun, and he would let me shoot the crows out of his rhubarb so that the grandma would have something to make pies out of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do.
But if I could smoke with my dad and my grandpa at the same time, who were both two tobacco lovers,
Yeah.
and just absorb whatever I could get off of those guys, that would be my dream.
That sounds amazing. You know, when I think about this question, and it's always asked, who would you want to sit with and smoke? And I think, okay, I grew up in the Caribbean. Simple answer would be Bob Marley. But as you know, as I listen to your answer, I think about my father, and so I've always shared my strained relationship with my dad. He left. Weird, I guess, story. My dad became like a very successful man. He became an amazing father and husband and with like to another family to another family.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he achieved great success and yeah, in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
it's not uncommon for a man to have two households. So let's just say my
Yeah.
dad was one of those kind of guys. He had he had two households. He was like a church leader and you know big time job and you know an amazing father to his other households
Bullshitting too much.
and and then and just like you said he became very religious but like in a like kind of like what you just described in a different kind of way because I remember my dad you know I was born in 79 so my dad loved Jimi Hendrix.
Right
And
on.
so the dad that I remember was this guy who loved rock and roll and Hendrix and Zeppelin and all that stuff. So I heard that growing up. My name, you know, my first name is Marvin. You know, so
What's your birthday, Marvin?
it was July.
All right,
July.
I'm June 1st, '69. I'm
I'm
10 years
79.
older than you, just by a bit. You know?
And so as when I watched my dad, he was this cool guy who just one day left and then you know just went on a different journey. And now, as I think about this, you know, now he's like 80 years old right now. Yeah, I would love to if I could sit with him because I think everything I went
Yeah.
through on my journey in life, I had to just learn. Like you said, I had to learn by myself. So I went. So you know, thank God for bringing this conversation together. You said at 17, you know, your mom had your bags out. At
Yeah.
17, my mom
Yeah.
signed. I had to get her to sign so I can go into the Marine Corps. So I left the house at 17 as well. And so
Nice.
everything I learned in life, I just had to learn. And so
Ex- Through
if
experience, life experience.
yeah,
That's the
if I could
best
have sat with
college
my
there
dad,
is.
I would love to sit with him and to say, hey, he doesn't smoke. So when he got religious, and this is why my even approach in religion is so different than others, because I watched my dad get religious, and then he couldn't listen to Jimi Hendrix anymore. He couldn't. He couldn't
Oh
party. He
man.
couldn't drink. He couldn't smoke. You know, he
Yeah.
got like he became. He was a
Yeah.
Seventh Day Adventist. Is a Seventh Day Adventist. He didn't
Yeah.
even eat meat anymore. So he got super religious, and then I feel as if he stopped being like my dad. He became this other person that I couldn't even
Yeah.
recognize. He became this perfect man. And here
Mhm.
I was, left me and my mom in the hood.
And that
And
affected how he
yeah,
treated you.
yeah, oh yeah, because he's now, we were his past. And
Mhm.
so anyway, so to sum this up, if I could sit with my dad and have a cigar and say, hey, look, there's lessons you didn't teach me. There's lessons I had to go learn in the pool hall. And I wish I wasn't out there at 12 years old. I wish you was here. And
Yeah.
so I never thought about it like this, but if I could sit and smoke a cigar with somebody, it would be with my dad to say, hey, look, you know me. I'm you.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if you had if we could have sat and smoked a cigar, and if you could have poured into me the lessons I needed to know, that would have helped me. I mean, now I had to become the man and become tough and do
Well,
all that.
and so you're a father, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I always tell people this. I never truly knew what love was until
Oh
my
no.
first child was born. It's a different experience. It's a different kind
Yeah.
of love. It's a I'll throw myself under a locomotive for you kind of love. And it's
Yeah.
different. You love your mom, you love your wife, you love whatever,
Mhm.
but that love that you have for that child
Mhm.
is immaculate and it is from God.
Oh yeah, it is.
And but for your father to not put you in that same category, to not give you that unconditional love, to
Yeah.
discard you and throw you
Mhm.
aside,
Yes, sir.
that's tough for a young man. That's tough
Yeah.
for a boy
It is.
to deal with.
It is.
And then you
And
have a lot of
yeah.
ramifications that comes from that.
Yeah. No, but there, and that's why I try to be so real and so authentic. And so it's not by chance that young boy became like a corporate exec. It's
Hmm.
not by chance that young boy became a pastor.
Yeah.
It's not so. And so all these. So this is why I like to talk to men and say, "Hey, look. I'm 46 years old. I'm going to be 47 in a couple months. What happened to me at the age of 12? That still lingers. That still
Yeah.
sits with me.
Oh yeah.
That's still a real thing that I think about every day. So every achievement, I remember. So I would still call my dad, like when I got my bachelor's, when I got my master's, when I became a
Yeah.
pastor. I would call him because I was trying to get validation. I was trying to say, hey, look,
Exactly.
you left, the little boy you left, he worked
Yeah.
out good, he turned out good. And I realized one day I woke up and I'm like, dude, I'm 40 years old and I'm still trying to get my dad's approval. I'm still trying to get him to like me because in my mind he
Yeah.
left because he didn't like me, or that's the scar. So when I do this show and we talk, look,
Scars.
this is
Yeah.
real. It's real.
See
This ain't
that
just look.
I'm
It's real.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. So that left me in a position where that turned me into a life of addiction
That
and
could happen.
dependency, because I'm here and you know what? I still I graduated from high school. I was a varsity football player. I was a varsity track athlete. In fact, I still hold the school record for throwing the hammer at my
Ah,
school, and I'll always own it because they don't allow high school kids to throw the hammer anymore. So that's
mhm.
mine. And like, how
Yeah.
like the discus and all that stuff, they would like chalk off the field, and you got like the 100 and the 120 and all that stuff. Well, I used to chalk off the field, and then in between those two lines, I would write chunky. And when we'd have like the Christmas relays, people would come out and they was like, well, who's Chunky? And they're like, well, that's the guy that owns this field. And that's the guy that's going to whoop your butt when you come out to
Yeah.
it.
Love it.
you know,
Love it. Love it.
but seriously, dude, and I grew up in Independence, and they
Sure.
called it methapendence. It was at one
Ah,
time it was the
yeah.
meth capital of the world, and there was a lot of drugs, and there was a lot of jacked up crap going on, and a lot
Mhm.
of shady, shitty, brain dead people that I had to navigate through
Yeah.
to get to where I am.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Nah,
with
hey, I
all
mean,
that being said, um, the only thing that really got me through it was the accurate knowledge that I had of the Bible. It was
yeah.
even when I was in the pits of despair, it was like, Jesus, I
Amen.
know you're probably mad at me and you don't like me right now, but will you
Hmm.
guide me? Will you get me there? Will
Yeah.
you do what I need you to do so that I don't die tomorrow? You
Oh
know,
yeah. Yeah. No, we having what's called a real conversation. And
absolutely.
so in my prepping for the show, I was like, okay, do I set out questions to ask? I'm like, nah, we just gonna talk as men. Like it's gonna happen organically. When men come together, we just gonna talk, we gonna vibe. I didn't know I was gonna talk about my father and his father and
Well,
this and
me
that.
either.
Yeah,
But
it's
I'm
real.
not
Now,
ashamed of who I am and where I
no,
came from, and I'm not
no,
ashamed to talk about it. You know what I
no.
mean? It's therapeutic.
It is.
It's a good
This is
thing. And
what
you know what?
happens.
When people share that kind of stuff
Mhm.
with you, then you know they're really being real. Because if they're going to tell you the deepest, darkest parts of their life and
Yeah.
how they got through it, then you know
Yeah.
we ain't got nothing else to say, but we're glad to be here
Exactly.
doing this, what we're
Exactly.
doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not, look, I'll tell you, look, this Karen Burger is a pretty good cigar. This Wild Turkey 101 is a pretty good, Old Fogey got me wishing I'd grab like an Opus and grab my George T. Stagg. But look, when men come together, we can come together and we can just chill and
Yeah.
talk and just connect. So it ain't never about the cigar. It ain't never about the
And I love
whiskey.
this live because it's just organic.
Yeah,
It
it's
always
supposed to be.
finds its own way to
It's supposed to
wherever
be.
it goes. You know, you might have an outline or you might have, well, we're going to do this, but with
Yeah,
everybody's chats and
don't work.
everything that
Don't
everybody's
work.
doing, it just turns into its own
Yeah,
entity, and that's what I love about
yeah.
it.
Now let me do this because I'm always so. This is what it looks like when men just sit and talk. All right, so in our midst, and I've been look. I'm a man. It's called a man. I'm a pastor. I'm a patriot. I'm a Marine. I'm a father, husband. Yeah, I drink whiskey, smoke cigars, gun owner, all this stuff. So I'm a man. So we talking about manhood. We talking touchy feely stuff, about the hurts of our fathers and all that. Growing up, church hurt, everything. That's what I'm making sit around and talk about. Now in the
Yeah.
midst, because I've been ignoring it all night. So okay. So all right, my brother here. So John, what's his name? John Derp 8883. So all night long. So in the midst of that, we talking about fatherhood. We talking about just real stuff. And again, I'm always all right. So he's saying, he said, "Girl, you gotta shake that, move that, do that. Come on, do the rodeo." And all night long, because all night, look, I'm a man. I'm gonna tackle it. I'm a so brother John, what's going on? This show is bring the smoke. So because all night long, I'm like skipping past his. Here you go. To the window, to the wall. So he's a funny guy, right? So all right. So John, listen, we
Till
men's
the
right
sweat,
because
till the sweat
because here's
plays
let me finish.
basketball.
Yeah, it's I mean, so he all night long he doing this, right? Here's what we know. Old Fogey said he was chunky and he threw that hammer. So, old Fogey probably got some size on him. I know who I am, right? So we were
Yeah.
sitting in Kansas City in the lounge. I don't know if John, what's his name? John Derp 8883. I don't know if John Derp, and it's always the guy with no picture in his avatar. I don't know if John would have came over to our table and been messing with us. I think while we having our conversation, talking about manhood, talking about, religion, talking about what we talking about, I think he would have just sat in the corner and just chilled and left us alone. But
He better had, because here's another thing that
say,
I'm gonna rant on the rant. Okay,
I mean, so I
you're
want him.
you're
I want him to get it off his chest. I wanted to say what
you're
he got to
talking
say.
about a lot of these people that hide
Yeah,
behind these things, and they do things and they talk stuff. You know, when we was boys, we didn't have all this. You know what I
yeah. Well,
mean?
here you go, Fogey. So he
And
said, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. I mean, and here's the
we,
thing. He been here the whole time, 2 hours.
yeah,
He been here just chatting, just most random
absolutely.
stuff.
We didn't have all this. We didn't have this ability to share things like this with other good people, and
Here you
like
go.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
because we were pen and paper back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no phone. If you had a phone that had a 20-foot cord off of it, so you could go talk to a girl in your bedroom and mom couldn't
Hmm.
hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So John here, and all I'm saying, so John, in the midst of the men talking, what's going on, Marky? John here, and John just been going crazy. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me give John a second. John, I mean, look, it doesn't end. He says, I'm in the club, posted up, and John just,
Maybe John is a bot. Who knows?
I don't. So all I'm saying is because again, I just do stuff in a real way to say, hey, look, because if we was in a real lounge and I overheard John, I would say, hey Sean, hey, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
What'd you say? So John, this is your moment. This is your moment. This is your moment to shine.
Let it
What's
shine.
yeah, go ahead and shine because we know who you are, John. We see you. We've
Yeah.
been seeing you all night, so I'm not gonna act like we not seeing you. We recognize you. We see
Yeah.
you. We
Yeah.
talking about manhood, and you putting with like song lyrics the whole time. So John, name of the show is Bring the Smoke. So what's the deal? What's the problem? What's going on?
Well,
Tell
like I
us,
said,
John.
he might be a bot. And dude, let me share something that I learned with you
Please.
this week. So somebody created a social media platform for the AIs,
I think so.
and they started getting on there, and it was like 500 people one day, and the next day it was 20,000 people, and the next day it was, a million, and the next it was 2 million, and people been like doing screenshots of this media platform that these AIs are in, and literally said the humans are watching us and blah 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 blah. Dude, we got Skynet. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Skynet is here.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
we can say he a bot. I mean, he's either a bot or a real guy who
Uh,
who's just crying out for some attention. And
yeah.
again, I wanted to do the show just to, and it's not like it bothers me or nothing.
No, but you know
But
what? Back in the day, if that kind of shit was going on, we wouldn't be typing.
yeah,
We'd be
wow.
pounding some keys, but it would be some teeth. It wouldn't be no typing on no keyboard.
Yeah,
Because we didn't play that back in the day. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We got together, and we wasn't pulling out no guns. We wasn't
No,
doing none of
no.
that.
I was like, hey, what's
You know
up?
what I mean? I've taken many a ass whooping, and I've given a few. You know what I mean? But that's how we settled our differences back in the day. You had a disagreement, you had some things you didn't like. Get together behind the school at 4 o'clock, and then
Yeah,
all the chicks watch.
it was settled. It was
you
settled.
know,
It was announced. It was settled. It was announced.
absolutely, it was an event. It was an event.
What's up, my brother Young? Yeah. Yes.
Man, and you've been doing some great comments tonight, dude. I've been watching
Oh
everything
yeah.
you've
Oh
been
yeah.
posting, and
My brother Young.
good job.
Praying for you, my sir. We got you. We're praying for you. And the only reason I'm mentioning John is because I had this idea for today's show. I said I want to bring on old fogey on. I noticed, and I always say this, like, dang, like every video I put out, no matter what the topic is, it's gonna be there's gonna be some dislikes. I'm like, okay.
Sure.
So I said, all right, how about just do a show or bring the smoke? Because I've been hearing people say some wild stuff like, oh, Rise and Grind ripped me off, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So let's just, and again, this just is not to dwell on it, but just to get it out. So okay, the thing you worried about, John, or whoever, let's confront. Let's confront. So you got my attention for the next 5 minutes. What's the deal?
And mine too.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You've been on here for 2 hours.
Yeah,
dude.
you rant and say what you got to say.
Like, come on, like say it. What's your problem?
For
You got to
crying
do
out
this
loud.
because you're in the presence of men right now. You've been typing away. I mean, I've literally ignored the guy, and I was like, put him in timeout. I delete one comment a second ago because he had obscenities.
Yeah.
But I'm
or
like,
are
dude,
you 8 and you're on your daddy's
yeah, what's
YouTube
going on?
or what? What's the deal, man? You
So
know?
and so to anyone, and again, this is an opportunity. Anyone who, to all the people out there who you sent me money, and that's what I hate. Like, dudes like, damn, well, if you sent the money, I didn't get it. To all the people out there who I scammed them out of something, and I sent them whatever, they sent me money, and as you mentioned the bots thing. So yes, there is a channel. I did see it because someone they left a comment on one of my videos.
Yeah.
It's literally me. It's a whole nother channel, but it's like Rise and Grinder. Yeah, that was the name. So I don't want you to go to it, but I don't know. It's literally called Rise and Grinder. And there's a picture, there's me, but it's like a different shade. It's like me as a white guy or something like that.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see the channel called Old Fungus.
Yeah. And when I saw that, I was like, I've been cloned or something. So there's a channel out there called Rise and Grinder. And it's like me on the thumbnail or the avatar or whatever. But it's like it's me as a white person. It's like me, but it's like a different shade. And as you talk about the bots and just where we are
like
today, it's
like
crazy.
The white guys on the theater used to do blackface and they'd paint their faces up, but he's doing it white.
It's
the
me.
Reversal.
It's me.
Wow.
Because I looked at the picture, I'm like, that's me. At first I didn't realize it, but I was like, that is me. It's literally like me against the backdrop where I shoot my videos. So he took my picture.
That could be AI doing that.
Yeah, it's all AI. It's a picture of me because it's my background, like literally my bar. But it's like, it's me as a white person. So, and the channel's called Rise and Grinder. And I showed that to my wife. I'm like, damn, like I done made it. Like folks is cloning me, and so again, and I don't,
it's like you remember that. So you remember that Saturday Night Live skit where Eddie Murphy was the white guy,
that was perfect.
And he goes on the bus,
into the bank,
and the black guy gets off, and they all start partying. The cocktails go around and all that shit like that.
Yeah, I think he went into a bank or something.
That was so great. Yeah,
Drewski did something recently. Yeah, but there's crazy stuff out here, and again,
there is.
Well, I know,
I've been trying to step my game up, and how I always do my intros, and I'm like, we're fixing to blast off, and I had that old intro, and then I thought, man, how cool would it be to have a cigar be a rocket ship and take off into the universe? You know what I mean? And I did. I used AI to create that, but it did exactly what I wanted it to do. And it stepped my game up. So it is a useful tool, but at the same time, I don't need it. I don't need it shoving all these ads and doing all this stuff, and I don't need it turning me into a black guy, or you into a white guy.
It's a good tool. I mean, oftentimes I'll be at work and I'm like, okay, I got to write this email. I'm like, all right, it's gonna take me 10 minutes to write this email, but if I can put some of the ideas of it, AI can spit it out in 30 seconds. And so it's a tool that we can use.
Sure.
But I think it doesn't take away from the actual real live spaces of men and women where we can come together and
we know the difference.
Just
the difference.
Yeah. So and I've done this idea so many times. That's why old Fogey talked earlier about I did a whole live. The live was me making fun of me.
Yeah, that was great.
And the reason why I did that, here's John again, because I did a show and I said, okay, come, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what I'm saying is wrong. Tell me what you're so pissed off about. Tell me, because I know people be talking crap. I know it. So I try to just get on here and say, all right, look, let me know, what was it I said that pissed you off? Was it what I said about Atabey Black, or was I said about what was it that I said? And I've tried to do that, and I'm going to do it periodically. I believe in giving a space to say, hey, look, obviously I said something that made you mad. All right, what did I say? Tell me what I said. Let's talk about it. And every now and again, I try to do this, and it's always
why are you butthurt about it?
Yeah. But nobody ever says anything. And if I say, I could literally do a show and said, that was that show. It was entitled Holding Rise and Grind Accountable.
Yeah.
And I figure all the people who got a problem with what I said, they would come on and say, hey, here's what you said that I didn't like. And then I would just address it and say, you know what? But whenever I do that, there's never anybody to say nothing.
Well, I gotta throw a quote out here for stuff like that, and I'm gonna throw a word out there. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Spike Lee's "Do the Right Thing."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a great movie, and there's a quote in there where the son of Sal, the pizzeria guy, comes in and he's getting confrontational, and he says, and then Mookie says, "Fuck you, fuck your fucking pizza, fuck Frank Sinatra." And that's kind of the way I feel about that shit. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I mean, that is the ultimate. That's how I walk away and think.
Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, I'm this guy who just doesn't understand why. Yeah, as I get older, you're older than me, I find myself being the guy, the get off my lawn guy, and saying, look, why can't men be the way they used to be?
Yeah.
Why can't women be the way they used to be? And again, that was a big part of my platform to say, hey, again, I'm not here to sell cigars or whiskey.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have conversations. And because we used to do this, we used to sit in the pool hall. We used to sit in the cigar lounge. We used to sit in the barber shop. There used to be a time, some of you guys, this might blow your mind, but there used to be a time where men would sit and get their shoes shined. And while they get their shoes shined, they would talk. I mean, there was all these environments where men would talk.
Could socialize.
That was the point of the lounge.
You'd come together and socialize. Yeah.
The point of the lounge, and this might blow your mind, it wasn't for the brands to push their products on us.
No.
It was where men came together. Back in the days, you had guys who didn't even have hair who would sit up in the barbershop all day long.
Just for the discussion.
Yeah.
You know,
because that's what
and there, you know, there wasn't all these brands, and there wasn't all these commercials, and there wasn't all this stuff. You know, it was an opportunity to get together. And number one, God bless you, I love you, girls, but us boys need boy time.
Yeah.
We need to get away from that estrogen. You know what I mean? We need to talk man stuff, and we need to be with boys, you know, and men, and do our thing. You know, and that's what that promoted back then. You know, a lot of that was just, you know, some fellas, you know, they work hard, they provide for their families, you know, they need some me time, and that's where it was, the barbershops and the shoe shines and the this and the that, to where, you know, I can feel like I have a life outside of being this provider and being this father and being this everything, to where I have an individual voice that can be heard and respected or not, you know?
You're well said. That's where it was. We had these platforms, and so you got a chance to sit and talk and get it off your chest. And we would say this is a comedian, I think Chris Rock said it. He said we used to talk about beating up politicians. Like, that's what we used to talk about. Like
Yeah.
It was okay. Like,
yeah,
we used to say stuff like Reagan, man, I'll kick Reagan's ass. Like if you did, and it was cool. It was okay. That guy like Reagan, you didn't like him, and you just shared what you thought, and it was okay.
Nobody got their panties in a wad over it.
It was over. You would say Reagan's policy is good. You'd be like, man, I'll whoop Reagan's ass, and then you laugh about it. And then you move on to sport.
There was this movie that, who was it? It was Michael Douglas did, that was called The American President.
I love
and he
that movie.
made this statement that was like, you know, you think about, you know, longing and a younger time, and, you know, when you know, the American dream and everything was about somebody that could sit there and yell about something that they're passionate about that you have spent a lifetime opposing. And we've gotten away from that. You know, we've gotten away from the American freedom of speech and being able to say what's on our minds and not allowing everybody can say their thing, but you know what? You can say your thing, but you can't control me.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Because in my world and everywhere that I come from and everything that I have a right to say what I say. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I've
Oh
been
yeah.
through the fire. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
And like what I said about this is why when I talk about cigars. So again, this is just the platform I'm using. If you tell me you get mad over a cigar thought, you just told me everything I need to know about you.
sure,
Because look, yeah, I live in Southern California, so but for my
I've
work, I
never
used to
been to
travel a lot.
California. I need to come visit you. You know,
Oh, please do. There's a place for you to lay your head. Yeah.
and you got one here too, brother.
Oh, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there soon. But I live in Southern California, and I used to always travel a lot to like small towns in Pennsylvania. And I say this all the time. And Ray's on here. Ray know. I
Yeah,
told Ray I be in Alabama. I be everywhere,
yeah,
and I'm good wherever I go. And that's just manhood. That's just
you're
how we are. That
comfortable
we
in
can
your
go
own
anywhere.
skin. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You are comfortable being the person that you are, and you don't have to make excuses. You know, you can say
Yeah.
what's on your mind, and and
Mm-hmm.
nobody can tell you anything different.
No.
You know,
Yeah. And that's how we. That's just how we are.
yeah.
That's how we were. And
True that. True that.
I just feel like I'm on this, I guess, crusade of saying, let's bring manhood back to where
Yeah.
man could just be us. And that's why I go hard. I'm just using cigars as that's just the thing I can point to. Because when I say, hey, you mad because I don't like your cigar, I'm saying a whole lot more.
Yeah.
The cigar is just the thing I'm talking about, but I'm saying, look, you're being a weirdo because ain't no real
You
man
used
worried
that
about,
multiple times now, and I love that. Yeah.
yeah, ain't no real man worried about. A real man walks into the cigar lounge. He done worked all day. He got to go home
Yeah.
to the wife and kids. He's sitting here and chilling. It don't matter what y'all talk about. It don't matter if you like Jordan and he like Magic.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes of an exercise. You can go back and forth. It's cool. It's good. It don't mean nothing. But the guy who walks out the lounge and he's still mad. Okay, now you just revealed everything about you. Because the
Yeah.
rest of us, we just chilling. Even like homeboy, like whatever his name is, like I'm literally doing a live, right? I set it all up, got it all set up, invited old fogey, and there's a guy in here being weird, like saying all kind of weird
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing about that that's gonna throw me off. Like I'm
No.
reading it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, let me give him some shine because again, we're so secure in who we are as men.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can take that away.
Well, and
I'm not
he
gonna
had
I'm
his
not gonna look
five
at him and get
minutes of
mad, be like, oh,
fame.
I'm mad.
He's
Yeah.
gone now. Where is he? He's
Yeah,
gone.
exactly,
You know?
exactly. And that's the thing about just plain old manhood. And I find it so it's comforting, even though it's a little disturbing. As my brother says,
Later, Ryan.
my time has become the
Good
me
night,
time
brother.
each week. Yeah. And I
Later,
love
Mark.
that. And I want to just provide that space where and I think it's almost a shame where we don't have more of that.
Really?
And there's this poem that says where I guess a guy he's on the beach and he's like throwing turtles back into the water, and someone says, "Dude, it's a million turtles. You can't throw them all back in." And he says, "Yeah, but I can help that one."
Yeah.
And that's how I look to say, okay, look, well maybe as my brother, maybe I can help Young. Maybe I can help Ray. Maybe I can help old Fogey. Maybe I can help Mark. Maybe I can help Ryan.
Well, you have
Maybe
helped
I
me
can
a
just
lot.
help us.
You know what I mean? You have guided me into this hobby. You have you've introduced me into a lot of stuff, and you've welcomed me with open arms. You know what I mean? And you have been a great proponent for me, for my channel. You didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? I didn't ask you to do that, but you did, because that's just the kind of person that you are.
Sure.
You know, and I appreciate that.
Oh man, I got you. I got you. I got you. We here for each other. As my brother says, it's better than a lounge. And Ray, I mean, a couple weeks ago I said I'm doing a men's circle.
Yeah,
And you know, here's the funny thing. It's a funny thing. Ray, so Ray literally sits with his homeboy, like Hawkeye. So come on, you doing it. I think sometimes we don't realize what we're doing. You sitting with a man, chilling and vibing, and you putting on content, and old Fogey's there, and I'm watching, and so I think sometimes we don't realize the impact that we're having. Yeah, and then I'm always watching, but I'll make sure I comment and let you guys know I'm there and I'm watching. All right.
Well, it's just somebody being real. It's somebody in their cigar smoking environment. It's somebody sharing a cigar. And you know, here's another rant that I'm going to throw out on this thing is some of these platforms I've been in, and people are in these same virtual cigar lounges every night, and all they talk about is cigars. You know what I mean? This cigar and that cigar and this and that and 25 tasting notes and blah 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 blah. I don't want that. I want to be able to discuss topics of life. I want to discuss how my cigar experiences enriches my life and share that with other people. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to just be all cigars, because you know what? Life isn't all about cigars, fellas.
Way bigger than this.
And it can't be. It can't be. And that's why I love this live stream. Because we are always talking about different topics. We're being boys, and we're doing our thing, and we're just having fun. And that's what it needs to be about. Let's just get back to that and stop the foolishness, you know?
Yeah, let's take our spaces back. And again, for anyone that might be frustrated, and all I'm saying to you is this: it's a cycle. The cigar space goes through this. I've been watching this for some time now, and I'll say it this way: Cigar Vixen just dropped a video like yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, cool," you know. And if anyone's like, "Who's Cigar Vixen?" Okay, there was a time where this space was different, and it's a cycle that we seem to go through. Every 5 years, we're real, and then we get kind of crazy, and that's why I say this all the time. It's a business.
Then we share other thing that's going on in our life, like another topic that you talked about was like hobbies. You know, if I could go through all the hobbies that I have had in 56 years, man. I mean, the hi-fi stuff and the vinyl stuff, and I'm also a Part 107 commercial drone pilot, and I race FPV drones, and just and the cooking and the this and the that, and and it's like
you got to sort it out.
It's seasons, you know what I mean? But out of all of those, out of everything that I've ever done, this has been my most enjoyable, because of the fact that the people are cool. Because most of them don't have an agenda. Most of them are like wanting to share or wanting to learn and wanting to come together and just be real. That's the best part of it all.
Yes, sir. Amen. 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 I love that. I used to start my show off by saying what I cooked that day, and if I'm playing golf the next, because it's bigger than a smoke and a drink. And that's why I did it to say, hey, look, I'm a real dude. And that's why I always tell you guys, like, yeah, I'm wearing my work clothes. Like, yeah, I went to work today. Like, that's what I did for money. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to chill and relax. Like, I didn't made money. I'm here to hang out with the fellas.
Get away from the have tos and go to the want tos.
Yeah. I'm here to relax with us. And so that's why I try to make this thing authentic. I appreciate you, Brother Ray. saying you enjoy watching lines like this. Ryan, I think Ryan did one something, but Ryan is a great supporter of the channel.
Yeah. And I
Ryan's
like
mentioned
your
about
comments,
cigars.
man. You're
Cigars
real
brings
with
us
them,
back.
and you're engaging, and and that's what I love too. Is like, everybody that gets in the chat, they share and they are supportive, and they share their own opinions, and they do their things. And
Yeah,
Ryan, you're a very good proponent of that.
Ryan's the man.
Thank
Ryan's the
you
man.
for being helping this Friday night be awesome, like it always is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So we did our thing tonight. Kept it chill, nothing too controversial. Didn't say anything that should upset anyone. And if anyone said anything that I thought needed address, and I said, yeah, hey, get it off your chest. That's what men do. Brought old Fogey on, my first guest ever.
Thank
Every
you.
week that you see, I'm just trying to do something different,
I am
something
honored.
new. Oh yeah, I'm glad. So again, I could have listen. I could have been like, oh, let me bring this cigar guy on because they're all in my email inbox. But I'm like, no, it ain't about who am I going to do? Bring you on for you to push your cigar for 2 hours? Like, I don't want to do that at the end of the day.
I feel like, Dr. Marvin, I feel like you have rewarded me tonight for being a supporter. You have, you've seen that I'm always engaging in the chat, and I'm always there, and I'm always active. And I love this community that you have built, and it's all you. You know what I mean? And I really enjoy it. I always do. In fact, the times that I miss, I'm like, man, what did I, and I'll watch them later, and I'm like, I wish I'd have been there because I would have had something to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So for those who watch it on the playback, and for those who remain, look, we going on 3 hours. My wife. Look, this ain't supposed to listen. This is not supposed to be a 3-hour show. So it's just all organic.
Yeah.
I invited my brother on. And listen, I want to even set the record straight. He was saying, "Hey, what are we talking about? Let's meet up." I was like, "Nah, dude. We just gonna hang out." And so, and now here we are, 3 hours later, just chilling. You guys are here, just rocking out. We could do this another 2 hours, but we won't.
Yeah.
We won't. We wrapping this up because we all men living a real life. We got some of us got wives and children and stuff we got to do. This is for us to unwind, just us.
Yeah.
And anything I do with the future of the show, it's always gonna be just us, just unwinding, just chilling.
I really feel unwinded. I've decompressed.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
The work week.
That's the point.
So my wife had a impacted tooth, and I've been to the ER twice, and I've been to oral surgeons, and I've done all this stuff, taking care of my wife this week. So I've had all that stress on top of it. But you know what?
Yeah.
Right now, all that has just drifted away.
That's the point. That's the hope.
I feel me. I feel alive. I feel relaxed. And that's the other thing that cigars can do for you, if you will allow them, is to get you out of the rat race, get you out of that 174 mile an hour brain, and slow it down to life can be very simplistic if you will allow it to be.
Yeah. Amen. I was talking with a coworker, and she was telling me she drives like a Lexus something. I said, "Oh, you got 6 gears?" She says, "No, it's got 8 gears." I'm like, 8 gears? I said, "What do you need with 8 gears?" I said, "What are you trying to get to?"
Yeah.
and as she said that, I thought to myself, there ain't nowhere I need to be on 8th gear. We need to chill and relax and unwind. We work hard. We do a lot as men, women. We okay. You don't need to get into 8th gear. And so the whole point of my show, whole point of my channel, if you ever watch one of my videos, and I say this all the time, if you watch one of my videos and you feel like you got to go do something, no, then I made a bad video. If you watch a video like, oh, I need to go buy that, no, then I did wrong. If you watch a live and you feel like, oh, I need to go, no, I want you to chill and relax because you're doing enough. You good. You're a man, you're a woman, you're a father, husband. You've done enough. Friday nights is for us to just unwind and chill. Cigars, as old Fogey said, is for us to unwind and chill.
Yes,
and if you
sir.
smoking cigars and in the midst you getting stressed out because you got to think about what to buy, no, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap this show up because I can't say chill and then sit here for like 3 hours because I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting tired. So
Me too.
The whole point is this is a community for us to just unwind. That's what my channel's for.
And let's keep it that way, guys.
I think we got more channels that's getting us back. And this might seem like, oh, it's strange and it's different. It's different now, but it's how it used to be. Yeah. And if you wait a second, we're going to get back to that place. So again, I'm saying to the guys who maybe you just started smoking, we weren't always so hype and stressful. We used to be very chill. And so join these kind of communities and these movements where we just get back to being chill again. Yeah. It's possible. I've seen it done. We are who we need. So, folks, as we wrap up, and anything you got coming out as we finish?
Well, so tomorrow night I'm going to be on Ray's Cigar Lounge. He invited me to come, and I go hang out with him and Hawkeye, and I have a good time. And you know, it's a late night and on a Saturday, and I appreciate it. And then I'm going to kind of dip my toe in the waters on Sunday. I'm going to do at 10 a.m. On my channel. I'm going to do a live stream and just smoke a cigar. And then my friend Cassie that owns the cigar room, I was talking to her today. She's going to come in and we're going to talk some cigar shop stuff, and she's going to share some things. But really, it's just like, you know, on my channel, I've got a lot of segments going on and I've thrown some stuff out there. But the main things that I'm wanting to focus on is like a stick and a story. You know, I want to sit down and smoke a cigar and not talk about the cigar and this, that, and another. I want to share stories with you and that kind of stuff. And then I'm doing a cigar pairing thing with barbecue since I'm in Kansas City, and it's called Burnt Ends, you know, because, you know, barbecue has burnt ends and a cigar lit has a burnt end, you know what I mean? And we're going to I'm going to take some people. We're going to go to some barbecue shops in Kansas City, and not the ones that everybody says are the great ones. We're going to the mom and pop shops that, you know, are doing it right and have family recipes and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and I've been like, you know, I've kind of turned my channel into a vlog. You know, I've been going, as I travel, I go to different cigar humidors and just take you with me and just show you what some of these other places are offering around the country and just that kind of stuff. And, you know, like Marvin says, I'm not a cigar reviewer. I never intended to be a cigar reviewer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I want to share with everybody how cigars has enriched my life. And the best part of it is, just like I met Marvin, just like I came on here and met a lot of you fine people, that's what it's about. It's about the people. It's about a real community. And I've been in a lot of other ones. I've been in the vinyl community. I've been into this. I've been into that. And nobody is as chill and as real as what it is in the cigar community. And that's what I want to share with people.
Hey, man, you've done that, man. So check out old Fogey Stogie's channel. Check it out. Look, he's got the Rise and Grind stamp of approval. I told him already, like, ain't a bunch. Look, the video that I dropped on, I think, Wednesday, I didn't watch my own video till like Thursday. Like, yeah. I don't watch a lot. I don't even watch my own stuff. You know how busy you got to be to upload your own video, and you don't even.
Well, and you're watching it while you're editing it too. You know.
Yeah. But I at least want to watch it and hit a like for my own video. But I don't even have time to watch my own video. But when old Fogey drops a video, I'm like, all right, let me go watch that because it's gonna help me. It's gonna be good.
Well, thank you.
And so I support him. He supports this channel. Look, I'm tired. I'm done.
Yep.
I'm not going. Ain't no closing sermon. I'm
Yep.
finished. I'm done. I'm not answering no questions. 3 hours, ladies and
Yep.
gentlemen. Hit like on your
Yep.
way out. There's no more I could have done. There's no more old fogey could have done.
Yep.
We took care of y'all on a Friday night.
Yep.
So that's it. We did it.
Peace out.
You good. Blessings. Love you. God
Yeah.
bless you. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.